in that debate, hands down.
So here's the problem. The stronger performance from both Cruz and Rubio, particularly as it related to prosecuting the case against Donald Trump, it comes in the 11th hour. 5 days before 12 states go to the polls. Mm-hmm. It also highlights their campaign's incompetence, the malpractice that has been committed by Rubio and Cruz. Why is this the first time in a debate they're bringing up Trump University and the civil action against Trump University? Why is this the first time we're hearing about the arguable hypocrisy of Donald Trump being the guy who's going to build the wall and being the most vociferous opponent of illegal immigration?
Oh, and yesterday he threw in that line too. And now that you said that, I'm going to build it 10 feet taller.
Well, that was in response to Vicente Fox's comment. You pay for the wall yourself. But why are we hearing about the hypocrisy? He's the most vociferous opponent of illegal immigration. Talks about American jobs being shipped to Mexico and China and Japan and Vietnam. And yet he was doing some of the same, if you will. Why is this the first time we're hearing about it? See, to me, one of the lines of attack against Trump, but this has to be prosecuted over a period of time. And also, by the way, not just in a debate. This has to be on campaign commercials. This has to be presented on the ground in early states like Iowa and New Hampshire and South Carolina, and in mailboxes for likely Republican primary voters. So it's picked up by local media, and it starts to churn, and it starts to penetrate the consciousness of the electorate. And where is that? You come in at the 11th hour, and you're kind of throwing everything against the wall and seeing if somebody picks up something. One of the lines of prosecution that could have been advanced by any of these candidates, Trump is for the little guy. Trump is for the guy that has been screwed by a government he finances, except he's actually not. This is a line of attack. He is only to the extent that provides an ancillary benefit to Trump pursuing his interests. He will reverse course and put his heel on the throat of the little guy if that advances his interest. He did it in the Susan Kalo, a Susan Kalo type case, trying to eminent domain somebody's private property, use the government to eminent domain somebody's private property for his private development.
For a parking lot, right? For the limousines?
Well, whatever it was. The point is it's somebody's private property for private development. It's not a public purpose. That's the problem.
Well, I thought Marco Rubio, really, well, go on with what you're going to say.
So you start there, and you start to build a narrative about this guy that runs counter to the narrative that he's building simultaneously. You can't just launch an attack or have a 5-minute exchange in a debate and think that's going to have somehow turn the campaign on its head. It's not going to. You think that last night's debate, no matter how bad Trump looked in certain moments, is going to be a contagion that sweeps through all the SEC primary states on Tuesday, all of which except Texas, Trump is leading?
Well, it might have changed somebody's mind. Donald Trump looked so vulnerable last night, and he just wanted to get off stage, I thought. And there was so much screaming going on. That's why the 10th debate last night I thought was the best one, because you got to see Marco Rubio took off the gloves. He wasn't fearful, and he attacked Donald Trump in a way that Jeb Bush should have been attacking him from the get-go. And Ted Cruz was harder on Donald Trump. But did you notice Ben Carson and John Kasich did nothing?
They also participated. They were also on stage.
Well, they were on stage.
They answered questions when the questions were asked.
John Kasich's people, and this was on CNN, Gloria Bulger said she was receiving some text messages from inside Kasich's campaign camp, and they were just begging him, please go after Donald Trump. Now is your time. And he would not do it. He didn't make any disparaging remarks at all against Donald Trump. Because he probably wants to be his vice presidential candidate.
I'm not sure about that, but it might not just be in John Kasich's nature. But part of it is you kind of have to be who you are, but be the best of who you are, and maybe sometimes do some things that are uncomfortable given your position, like John Kasich's. But I just go back in. Yeah, the 10th debate. And it took this much time for the campaigns to recognize that Trump is real.
What about if Marco Rubio or Ted Cruz today find some students from Trump University who were bamboozled and did a campaign ad with them?
Yeah,
Would that be effective, or is it still a little too late?
Well, I mean, those are the kinds of things that should have been ongoing. So what you're saying on the stump is being reinforced by what people are seeing on TV. It's being reinforced by what they're hearing on the radio. It's being reinforced by what they're seeing in their mailboxes, what they're hearing from their friends. But you have to market those ideas or those arguments, and that hasn't happened. I mean, the Trump University case. Even the foreign worker case, we've mentioned it in passing. It hasn't been a big story. You know why?
Why?
Because the candidates haven't made it a big story.
But Donald Trump got fined millions of dollars for hiring illegal Polish immigrants to build his buildings.
Yeah,
and that's a pretty big deal. Especially since he's the one who wants to kick them all out. Okay, well then who's going to build your buildings?
I'm gonna suggest that it turns out not to be a very big deal in terms of election results on Tuesday, and that's kind of the point. Sharon and Addison, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, thanks for taking my call. Tell you something, when I was listening to another radio station down the dial and these Trump supporters were calling in, they are true religious fanatic believers for Trump. It doesn't matter what he does. In their minds, he can get away with anything. But I don't feel comfortable voting for the man. I'm one of those many Republicans who look at him and I think he's a joke in many ways. You want to give somebody a chance, but he's hardly an outsider. And if we are unfortunate enough to have him elected, he will have been a lobbyist who had been basically asking politicians for favors. Now he's going to be a politician asking lobbyists for favors. And I'm sitting back here wondering, Cruz has been my candidate from the get-go, but I think any of the other ones would be better than Donald Trump because I think he's more of an insider than the politicians are. I really believe that. And the people who want to vote for him, though, are very stringent in their opinion. They can't be swayed.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Sharon. Appreciate it. I mean, one of the interesting moments was Trump again prosecuting the same cases he's been prosecuting over and over. If there's somebody who has continued to offer the same lines of attack, it's been Donald Trump. And he went after Ted Cruz saying, you've been in the Senate and none of your Senate colleagues endorsed you. You should be ashamed of that. Well, the response to that is, wait a second.
Isn't that a badge of honor?
All the politicians in D.C. you say are losers who don't know what they're doing, but I should be ashamed that I don't have their endorsements? I mean, you have to deconstruct his arguments, which Rubio and Cruz did on some matters.
Well, one point in time, it was cross-examination from Ted Cruz to Donald Trump.
Yeah, and health care.
Answer the question. We'll have that for you later.
And Rubio, too. But there's just, this is not enough, and it's coming too late.
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
What do you think of last night's debate, the last one before Super Tuesday? 312-642-5600 is the number. And here are the numbers in the weather department. It's going to be pretty mild today, intervals of clouds and sunshine, a high of 36. The weekend, make your tea times now. Saturday is going to be mostly sunny, breezy, a high of 51. And on Sunday, increasing clouds and maybe a shower in spots, but the high of 61 degrees. Let's get the travel times. Anything spectacular on the roadways? Here's Jim Telemonte.
Good morning, Amy and Dan. Good morning. Well, right now, I don't know about spectacular, but things are better than they've been earlier in the week. There is one crash to report eastbound Adams Tollway, I-90 at Beverly Road. It's on the right shoulder, not causing any delays. The other expressways and tollways are still looking pretty good. It's getting a little heavy as usual. Inbound on the Bishop Ford approaching the Merge, and then inbound on the Ryan approaching downtown, but nothing really to worry about. Still one major closure in Porter County of State Road 8 between 231 and State Road 49 in Couts due to the major snow earlier this week. I'm Jim Talamonte, ChicagoRadioDeals.com, Traffic Center.
Looking to secure financing on a new home or refinance your existing home? Then you need to do what Amy did and call David Hochberg, Vice President of Lending at Pearl Mortgage. Tammy's heard hundreds of David's ads but wanted to contact a realtor before getting pre-qualified by David to purchase a home in Buffalo Grove. Bad move. Not getting pre-qualified by David before talking to a realtor is like getting tax advice from Willie Nelson. Bad move. David answered Tammy's questions, pre-qualified her to purchase a home, and introduced her to Gary Ellis, his Home Sweet Home Chicago radio show's realtor, who covers Buffalo Grove, in order that she could purchase a home. Purchasing a home can be overwhelming, but it won't be if you call David first. David can pre-qualify you for free and introduce you to his team of preferred realtors who help you locate the perfect home. If you're purchasing a home, the first and only call to make is to David at 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. David's helped Amy and thousands of AM560 listeners, but he can't help you if you don't call 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. Pro Mortgage, an equal housing lender, Illinois residential mortgage licensee, 4358, NMLS 19186.
Hi, this is Dr. David Kolbaba. So you get yourself one of those blood tests with all the poking and prodding. They're always looking for some kind of bad news. Most blood tests these days are very lacking, only screening you for the big, bad, and ugly diseases, and with you never really getting the good news, or even knowing what to do with the not-so-good news. So let me tell you about our dirt-cheap comprehensive blood test. First of all, we'll be testing a wide variety of different health factors, and not just the ugly few. And then we're going to sit down with you and strategize with all that we learned from your blood test findings. And I promise that you're going to know more about what you can do to help improve your health using a more natural, common sense approach. And for over 33 years, we've been very successful at setting people free from their toxic medications. It's our dirt cheap, comprehensive blood test. Call 800-794-1855. You can't get any cheaper than dirt cheap. That's 800-794-1855. Be sure to tune in to Health Quest Radio with me, Dr. David Kolbaba, this Saturday morning at 11.
Should you worry about identity theft during tax season? Yes. The IRS has reported over $6 billion in fraudulent refunds in a single year due to identity theft. Does it matter if you're not getting a refund this year? No. Thieves can use information from your tax documents to steal your identity well after tax season ends. Can disguising yourself make you less likely to have your identity stolen? No. Your friends might not recognize you, but it won't help with identity theft. Fortunately, LifeLock can help. If you're a victim, our U.S.-based team of specialists will work to resolve your case. If needed, we'll spend up to $1 million hiring lawyers and experts to set things right. Don't wait till you have a problem. Get LifeLock for peace of mind now and all year long. Memberships start at $9.99 a month plus applicable taxes. And now you can get 10% off. Go to LifeLock.com and enter promo code NEWS. LifeLock.
AM 560, The
Answer. Trump was asked in the debate about his tax returns.
Oh, yeah.
And it's worth noting, just before we refer to what he had to say yesterday, Rubio and Cruz are set to release their last 2 years of tax returns today to continue to try and move that line of argumentation against Trump.
Let me guess, they'll do it at 5 p.m.
No, I don't. What do they have to hide?
Yeah, that's true.
Especially Rubio. There's not much there. Although Trump didn't try to make a case about some home sale that Rubio had did.
Yeah, and then profited to a lobbyist or something.
And sold it to a lobbyist at a nice profit. But in addition to that, some oblique references to his time in using Florida State GOP party credit cards, and it's just
all went nowhere. And there was just a lot of screaming and
all
barking.
Below the fold stuff.
Bark, 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 bark. And then there was a screamer, too. Every time Marco Rubio said something, she screamed as if she was getting attacked by a wielding knife man in the audience. It kind of scared me. I thought, is that lady okay? Does she need help?
It was a plant. It was Rubio staffers that were out there reacting, vehemently, screeching, as you suggested, to every line of argument he said to one of his money lines. This is Brett Baer actually had a really good characterization of this.
Trump has these great rejoinders, these great, shoot back right then when the audience is clapping, that obviously gives him sound bites. I do think that the audience was equally split, and whoever was the velociraptor who was, crying out during Rubio answers, that was really
Who was the screamer? Right?
I don't know.
We'll find out who she is, but quickly, here she is.
But you wouldn't know anything about it because you're a lousy
Well, I don't know anything about bankrupting 4 companies.
No,
you bankrupted 4 companies. I don't know anything.
Yeah.
And she went on anytime he spoke.
Brett Baer was not excited about the Velociraptor following to the Fox debate on March 10th. Joe in Port Washington, Wisconsin. You're on Chicago's Morning Answer. Hey, Joe.
Hey, good morning, Dan and Amy. Hey, good morning. Love the show.
Thank you.
Great job. Dan, if you're ever north of the Chair Curtain, I'd love to smoke a cigar with you. And Amy.
Thank you.
What would you like to do with me?
Oh, boy.
Amy, most of your arguments have more holes than Swiss cheese, but I give you props for putting them up.
Thanks. I'm glad I showed up for work today.
I thought that the debate was great last night. It was great to see those guys go after Trump. I think, like you said, Dan, I think it might be too little too late, that they should have been doing this a long time ago. It reminds me of when George Herbert Walker Bush finally went after Clinton at the tail end of that campaign, and we know how that turned out. So I thought it was great. I thought they made some great points. That Cruz made some really great points about Israel and how Trump talks about being such a great Israel supporter, but at the end of the day, he really couldn't back up any of that with a solid argument. And I think Cruz really scored some great points there. But again, great debate, and I thought we got to get Kasich off that stage because he drives me crazy. But other than that, I thought it was a great debate.
Thanks, Joe. Yeah, on the Israel thing, we're going to tee that one up for Ambassador John Bolton at 6:35. But Trump's argument that you can't appear too pro-Israeli if you want to foster peace in the Middle East. Oh, brother. Ann, on the north side, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Oh, thank you for taking my call. Good morning. I didn't see the debate except on Channel 44, and it wasn't Spanish. And I don't know where it was. Pardon me?
Yeah, get Marco Rubio to translate it for you.
No, there was no translation. It was completely in Spanish. But that's okay. And the thing is, I wanted to ask a question. One question is, are conservatives born or are they taught? And, what's wrong with the ordinary American, low education, whatever it is, poor education? You see an American, you see this living Constitution, you see in him the Constitution, you see in him the allegiance to this country, you see him defend the Constitution, and you see the American who defends the Constitution with his life, not with a book, and he gives the liberty to the conservatives and to the other people. He defends their rights. Now, who defends our American rights? Who is defending us?
And thank you for the call. I get what you're saying. It's the people who are maybe not conservative intellectuals but live conservative lives who love this country. And a lot of those people supporting Donald Trump.
As usual, Amy, you're on the wrong side of everything.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
The only significant, among all the vitamins I changed, nothing affected cholesterol. I took this and my cholesterol dropped by 15 or 20%.
Yeah, with the acid reflux, and I have GERD and gastritis, and it really seems to be helping a lot, and my husband too. I mean, we're very happy with the product, I got to say it. It's been great, and we've seen dramatic results, so I can't say anything bad about it. We've really been happy with the product. We've been amazed with it.
There is a value in it because it has fruits and veggies, and I'm not a fruit and veggies eater, and I know this is helpful.
Good health is just a phone call away. What are you waiting for? Call now and take the health challenge to get a free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
ChicagoRadioDeals.com makes it easy for you to get fit with these exclusive deals from MFC Sports Performance in Darien. It seems like everyone has a kid who participates in school or club sports. Now, these kids could benefit from strength and endurance training, which is why MFC Sports Performance in Darien is offering a deal on open group training for your child. This $99 deal is only $50 for an 8-session package. Get in on the action yourself. MFC has another 8-session deal for adult boot camp fitness training, a $79 value for only $40. Hey, if you need time for yourself, visit the Primal Ocean Salt Cave in LaGrange. Your stress begins to disappear when you step into the pink Himalayan salt cave. Experience with an array of packages, which all include a salt cave session and either an aqua massage or aquascape session. Normally $65 to $70, only $40 at ChicagoRadioDeals.com. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Joe Biden apologizes to Mexico and Donald Trump's wall gets 10 feet higher.
But first, let's go into the newsroom and go over the wall and say hello to Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, good morning. Good morning, everyone. 30 degrees. We're following developments this morning in Heston, Kansas, where a suspected gunman is among the 4 killed in a shooting spree that ended at a Kansas worksite. Harvey County Sheriff T. Walton said the gunman was shot and killed by officers at XL Industries, a lawnmower parts manufacturer in Heston, about 30 miles north of Wichita.
Law enforcement confronted the shooter. Gunfire was exchanged between law enforcement and the shooter. and law enforcement shot and killed the shooter.
More than a dozen others were wounded, several critically. The shooting spree began on neighboring streets where the suspect was driving and shooting from his car. Authorities say all the dead were killed at the XL plant. Things heating up in the Republican presidential campaign. During a CNN debate in Houston last night, Donald Trump was attacked from the right and the left.
Well, you're the only person on the stage that's ever been fined for hiring people to work on your projects illegally. You hired some workers from Poland.
I'm the only one on the stage that's hired people. You haven't hired anybody.
Trump and Cruz on either side, or Trump and Cruz and Rubio on either side of Trump challenged the candidate's conservative credentials and electability against Democrat Hillary Clinton. Polls have opened in Iran's parliamentary elections. They're the country's first since its landmark nuclear deal with world powers last summer. The U.S. has conducted its second ICBM test this month, sending an unarmed Minuteman III missile roaring across the Pacific Ocean from California with an instrument package. Nevada GOP Governor Brian Sandoval taking himself out of the running as a potential candidate for U.S. Supreme Court. It was widely reported that President Obama was considering the former federal judge as a potential replacement for the late Justice Antonin Scalia. A person of interest is in custody after a cab driver was found shot to death on the north side. Police say Kamal Shamji was discovered Monday unresponsive inside a taxi parked in Lincoln Square. As of last night, no charges have been filed. The co-owner of the White Sox is dead. Eddie Einhorn passed away in Alpine, New Jersey, following complications from a stroke. He spent the last 25 years as vice chairman of the White Sox. He was 80, and that announcement came on the 80th birthday of the White Sox other co-owner, Jerry Reinsdorf. Chicago sports, Nashville beat the Blackhawks 3-1. College baskets, DePaul over St. John's 83-75. Indiana topped Illinois in the Big Ten 74-47. The news, a service of the Foundation for a Better Life. She didn't just visit the sick and poor. She moved in because they needed help. Mother Teresa couldn't do it all, but gave her all. Compassion, pass it on from the Foundation for a Better Life. 5:35 is our time. Time to check the climate of your business with aircomfort.com. 80 years of quality mechanical solutions for your business. And a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
America right now is better off than it's ever been. Man, if I thought that, I wouldn't fight.
The Joe Walsh Show.
52% of young people would do away with the First Amendment. We have people being fined and threatened with jail time for exercising their religious freedom. Yes, I am a pessimist, but that's why I fight.
The Joe Walsh Show. Weeknights starting at 5. Right after Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas. Great coffee. Period.
In business, risks and rewards come with every decision, like moving to the cloud with Office 365. While its benefits include anywhere access and lower costs, cyber threats and user errors can quickly wipe out data and the money you save. Barracuda Essentials for Office 365 provide an added layer of security and functionality for threat protection, email migration, data recovery, and quality of service. Move securely to Office 365. Visit barracuda.com/essentials to learn more.
I'm Rocky Moselle with StarRegistry.com. Since we were children, we've been told to reach for the stars. It was great advice. Now it's a great gift. Name a star after someone. For $54 and a call to 800-282-3333 or visit StarRegistry.com, we will name a star after someone very special to you and send an incredible personalized gift. The new star name will be recorded in book form in the U.S. Copyright Office. Call the Star Registry, 800-282-3333 or visit StarRegistry.com for the hottest gift.
5:37. Let's get an update on the roads in our ChicagoRadioDeals.com traffic center. Very latest now with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. On the Adams Tollway eastbound I-90, traffic is stop and go from 25 to be 459 with this crash now blocking 2 right lanes. Inbound Ryan, it's a 5-minute delay from the Stevenson to the Burn Circle. Bishop Ford, a 4-minute delay, 103rd to the merge. Other expressways and tollways are looking pretty good. In Porter County, State Road 8 remains closed under snow between 231 and State Road 49 in Couts. Traffic is a service of Lead Safe America. If you live in an historic home or you renovating, your children could be at risk of lead poisoning. It takes just a microscopic amount of lead dust to poison a child. Learn more at leadsafeamerica.org. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center, aircomfort.com. 80 years of quality mechanical solutions for your business. Clouds and sunshine today, high 36. Patchy clouds, 29 overnight, and we warm up to 51 on Saturday. 32 right now. Next news at 6. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Market Overdrive with Carla Mina, a power hour of real estate trends, secrets, and advice. Heard every Saturday afternoon at 1.
You want more than just the headlines? Find out what's going on and what it means with me, Dennis Prager, this morning at 11, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So, immigration was obviously a hot topic in the debate. Donald Trump's wall, that was revisited and in a lot of different ways. Who's going to construct it? What Donald Trump's history of employment in construction projects is, and
the
also
big thing was who's going to pay for it? How are you going to make Mexico pay for it?
Yeah,
and he said through trade.
Well, he said through a trade war if necessary. That's a little bit more than trade. It turns out that Trump is a bit of a neocon when it comes to trade wars. He's willing to go to war economically with Mexico, with China, Japan, Vietnam, etc. That's not productive, and it's not free market. It's not capitalist. I hate to break it to people. But that's what he said he would do because we have a $58 billion trade deficit with Mexico. He also responded to what former Mexican President Vicente Fox had to say about the aforesaid Trump wall and who's going to pay for it.
I declare, I'm not going to pay for that wall. He should pay for it. He's got the money.
Yeah, that's
what was it the F word?
Effing wall. Yeah, I'm not going to pay for that effing wall. Well, you're also not the Mexican president. You're the former Mexican president. But
he's got a lot of pull there still.
Yeah, the point is still made. And now this is the interesting contrast that I think only accrues to the benefit of Trump. So at the same time, this back and forth is going on between Trump and the former Mexican president. And remember, after South Carolina, in his victory speech, Trump said, some official, didn't refer to Vicente Fox by name, but some Mexican official said, he's not going to pay for it, he's going to make me pay for it. And the press wanted my reaction, and my reaction was the wall just got 10 feet higher, which is what he said last night as well. But against this, you have Joe Biden. He's the vice president of the United States.
Yeah, I'm familiar with his work. He's coming along with that cure for cancer, has he yet?
He took a mental health break from curing cancer yesterday to apologize to Mexico. I almost feel obliged to apologize for some of what my political colleagues said. Biden said alongside Mexican President Enrique Peña Nieto. It's a heated campaign season. I just want you to know, Mr. President of Mexico, that the most heated rhetoric you've heard from competitors for the nomination for president is not who we are as the American people. It's not the view that is the view of the majority of the American people. It's the exact opposite. It's the opposite view. So Joe Biden telling the American people who they are and what they believe, or telling the Mexican president who the American people are and what they believe, and coming this close to apologizing for America. The whole Obama administration has been one big apology for America to the rest of the world. You think that benefits Trump? I do.
You think it does? It benefits Trump? Why do you think it benefits Trump?
Trump's entire campaign is renewing America's swagger. We're not going to run around the world apologizing for who we are. Mm-hmm. We're not going to be pilloried by countries like Mexico who want it both ways. We're not going to come on bended knee to Saudi princes or Mexican presidents or anybody else. That's the Trump campaign in large measure. So Joe Biden going to to go standing with the Mexican president, apologizing for America, or coming just this close to doing that? You think Trump's not going to seize on that and say, this is what I'm talking about? And this is not going to happen under a President Trump? And I think that's going to have broad appeal. It has appeal to me, and I'm not a Trump supporter.
Really? All right, here's Joe Biden.
There's been a lot of damaging and incredibly inaccurate rhetoric, and I would argue I feel almost obliged to apologize for some of what my political colleagues have said.
Yeah, and almost obliged to apologize is basically the same as apologize. So Vicente Fox versus Trump, Trump versus Biden. I think in a Republican primary, those are good opponents to have if you're a Donald Trump.
But honestly, who's going to pay for this wall? I mean, do you think that they're going to? It's $10 to $12 billion to build this wall. That, by the way, is not going to keep anybody out. I hate to break it to you. I think we should take this show along the border, and we could see what's really happening along the border. I lived there for 2.5 years. I know exactly what's going on. People cross every day to go to school, then they cross back. And we have walls in Ciudad Juarez and El Paso and at the 3 bridges. But they could, if there's a wall, they'll dig a hole underneath it, or they'll find a way to climb over it. I'm telling you, This is not the problem. The problem is people who overstay their visas who come from other countries.
That's not that's
40% of the problem.
Well, and so what's the other 60%?
I guess people that cross on over.
Right.
But there's miles. It's 1,954 miles of the Mexican-American border. And there are spots, Dan, between, if you drive from El Paso to Tucson, there's only 2 towns, and the rest is just arid land. There is nothing there.
Right.
And nobody crosses over there, because if they do, they'll die.
And so you don't, and by the way, $10 to $12 billion, whoever pays for the wall, if that's the price.
That's what they said the price was, the debate.
$4 trillion annual budget. $10 to $12 billion. That's chump change. So that's number one. This is like, who's going to pay for, who are we going to come up with the money? Are you kidding me? $10 to $12 billion? How about we cut our foreign aid to Pakistan? That's half of it.
It's Pakistan, okay?
Yeah, so that's number one.
No, that's
number
fine.
two,
I'll be fine with cutting foreign aid to Pakistan.
I mean, it's coming up with $10 billion out of the federal government spending. That's that's laughable.
Trump is lying to the American people if he thinks Mexico is going to pay for it.
Whatever. Number two, it's about swagger. Number two, you don't think that if we marshaled the collective will of the American people, we could shut down a 1,900-mile border? You don't think we could do that? You don't think if we wanted to do that?
Well, you better bring in water resources, because there's a lot of land that has nothing. It's nothing. There's nothing there. And people aren't crossing at certain parts in New Mexico. They're not.
So the answer is yes. If we wanted to marshal the resources to close the southern border, to have it protected such that it would be virtually impenetrable, we couldn't do that? I think we could. I mean, we build prisons that hold that many prisoners, and you don't have prison escapees. And I'm not suggesting that we do anything of the sort. I'm just saying the idea that if we wanted to do something like this, we don't have the capacity to do it, it's a problem that we can't solve, is ridiculous. Of course we could shut it down if we wanted to. Of course we could. The resources we have, the talent that we have, the technology that we have, we couldn't shut down a 1,900-mile border? Of course we could. Randy and Sandwich, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Dan, you just pretty much said exactly what I wanted to say to her, and I'll just conclude with this point. Amy, you're dumb.
Oh, come on.
Randy, come on.
Thanks for the call, Randy.
God bless you, Randy.
Tony,
just because you don't agree with me doesn't mean I'm stupid.
No,
I'm
that's
just.
right.
Has Randy ever been to El Paso? Has Randy ever driven on I-10 from El Paso to Tucson? Probably not. Not a lot of people have.
No, I think you're the only one. You were the first. You're like Magellan. You were the first to circumnavigate that route. Tony on the south side.
Hey, how you guys doing this morning?
Good.
Listen, I got to disagree with Joe Biden as usual, because when you look at the optics, the way this primary is going with the Republicans, the majority of the votes so far have been going to Trump, which would indicate that when Biden says that that's not the way that most majority of Americans think about putting up a wall in Mexico, it really isn't true. Now, me personally, I'm not that kind of guy, but when you look at it, it's like, gee, seems like that's what the American people want. So, again, Joe Biden is wrong.
Thanks for the call, Tony. Tom in Schaumburg.
Yeah, what Joe Biden forgot to tell the American people is that 46% of the wage earners in this country pay no income tax, none whatsoever, and the rest of us are shelling out nearly $200 billion a year for illegal aliens. And who should pay for that? Yeah, the government of Mexico should pay for that. They're the ones that are encouraging their people to break into this country. And Amy, on one final point, you're absolutely right. There is absolutely no deterrent to Mexicans or any other foreigners from breaking into this country, because almost none of them ever get deported. And if they make their way to a sanctuary city like San Francisco or Chicago, they can stay forever. So what's the deterrent? Donald Trump has a deterrent. When you get caught, you get sent back. You got to get in line. You got to migrate here legally. Once they figure that out, they're not going to break in here no more. Thank you.
Thanks for the call, Tom. Jordan in Forest Park.
Yes, I've got a better deterrent to kind of prevent people from coming across. And let's do it this way. Okay, if you come across and you manage to get through the wall or the border or whatever, I would like to set up a processing center in Nome, Alaska. So everybody will have to go up there first.
Right.
And it's going to take about 2 months to process everybody. Then, when they're determined to be illegal, we're sending them all the way down to the southern border, Mexico. The southern border of Mexico, not the northern border of Mexico. Okay, that's my comment.
Thanks for the call, Jordan.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM 560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
More of your phone calls coming up. Grab a line on our turnkey.pro answer line. 312-642-5600 is the number. And the numbers in the weather department are skyrocketing this weekend. Today it's going to be 36 degrees, but Saturday mostly sunny, breezy, a high of 51. And on Sunday, some sun, then increasing clouds, a shower likely in the spot. But the big news is the warmth, a high of 61 degrees for the middle of February. That's we might set a record. But any record long times on the roadways? Here's Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy. Good morning. Things are building on the area expressways. There's a problem on the CTA Red Line. There's some delays right now, especially affecting the northbound side or the Howard-bound trains. There's a person on the tracks we just had reported at Clark Division, but that's apparently been cleared. Trains are starting to move again. Eastbound Adams Tollway, we have a significant delay now from the Fox River Bridge to past Beverly Road. 2 right lanes are blocked with a crash. Inbound Stevenson heavy from the Ryan to Lakeshore Drive, 40 minutes, 3:55 to the drive. Outbound Fine at 34. The Ryan, 21 minutes, 95th to downtown. Bishop Ford, 19 minutes, 80-94 to the Ryan. The other expressways and tollways, for now, have no significant delays. I'm Jim Talamonte, ChicagoRadioDeals.com Traffic Center.
On AM 560 The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to drill down and talk about the big ideas behind the big issues. That's where Upstream Ideas comes in. Upstream Ideas, online at upstream-ideas.com, in partnership with the Illinois Policy Institute, provides the kind of information that informs the policy discussions happening here on AM 560. At Upstream Ideas, you'll broaden the debate, move beyond partisan assumptions, and challenge accepted orthodoxies. In other words, Upstream Ideas goes against the current and thinks upstream. Go online now to upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to spur you on to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit more free, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. Upstream-ideas.com.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing, independently owned business bank. Signature Bank listens to your story, learns about your business, and sticks with their customers. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Kevin Bastuga, co-founder of Signature Bank. As native Chicagoans, my partners and I know this city, its economy, and the challenges that small businesses face. We like to think of Signature Bank as your hometown bank. Chicagoans helping Chicagoans. We understand that banking is ultimately about people, and we build long-term, lasting relationships with our customers. We stand by our customers, and our customers stand by us, and we welcome new customers every day. We look forward to welcoming you and your business into the Signature Bank family.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. Learn more about turning your business vision into reality. Visit signature-bank.com. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Winter weather is here, and this season's roller coaster ride and temperatures can be especially taxing on your business's mechanical HVAC system. That's why it's important to schedule a comprehensive review of your system today with Air Comfort, Chicagoland's leading mechanical professionals. For more than 80 years, Air Comfort has maintained hundreds of businesses' HVAC systems throughout Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana. Why do they trust their mechanical systems to Air Comfort? It's simple. Because they understand that Air Comfort has the best trained and highly skilled team of award-winning technicians. That's why Air Comfort is recognized as an MSCA Star Contractor, a designation achieved by only 2% of contractors nationwide. With a large service fleet of more than 80 fully equipped vehicles, chances are that an Air Comfort technician is nearby. Schedule your system check by calling now, 708-345-1900, or online at aircomfort.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Hey, before you read about it on Facebook or Twitter, or hear about it from your friends, find out what today's big stories really mean with me, Sean Hannity, today at 2, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Techno music. Huh?
Yeah, it's hot.
I bet you know the band, huh?
I don't. Or the DJ, more likely.
Excuse me, Dad.
We're talking about the debate. A lot of topics to cover. We're focused on immigration and the back and forth, the textured conversation, scream fest that was had on immigration yesterday. Roosevelt on the southwest side.
Good morning, guys. How you doing this morning?
Hey.
Good.
Amy, you're right. And wouldn't it affect the economy of the border states?
Yeah, I was just saying that. I was just during the break. I was talking to Dan about that will affect the economy in El Paso.
What percentage of the economy of Texas depend on people coming from Mexico to buy in Texas?
Yeah.
Well, they do that in Arizona too. They come legally. I mean, 230,000 people cross in to America a day and then cross back.
Yeah, this is
between the 5 states.
Thanks for the call, Roosevelt. This is not the way you do this. Okay, and there's also costs. You mentioned also they come across to go to school. Who pays for the school? This is the way you do this. You have control over your border. Mm-hmm. You have a guest worker program for people to come over, so it's organized. I'm not opposed to people coming here who want to work here, want to improve their lives here. The point of this is to have a legal regime that is organized, not this chaos, uncontrolled chaos on the border, not just with respect to Mexican immigrants, but as the point was made by many of the candidates repeatedly, not just last night, those that are coming from Central America and South America and perhaps even Arabic countries that mean to do harm to the United States. There has to be some control to the chaos. That's all.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
If you suffer from depression, consider TMS, an incredible new advancement in treating and relieving depression. Medications may not work and can cause serious side effects.
I'm Jim Marks, a medical director at Theramind Services and a board-certified psychiatrist for over 22 years. If you or someone you love suffers from depression, TMS can change your life. I've witnessed its transformative results in my patients for years.
TMS, or transcranial magnetic stimulation, is a safe, non-invasive, and highly effective treatment for drug-resistant depression. Over 50,000 patients have been helped by TMS. Most insurance companies cover TMS, including Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois and Medicare. Depression can be beaten, and without drugs. Schedule a free consultation with Theramind, with locations throughout Chicagoland. If you suffer from depression, do something about it. Call Theramind, 847-562-5868, or go to tmsmind.com.
So you've heard us talking about this for weeks, our Escape to Cabo trip to Secrets Puerto Los Cabos Golf and Spa Resort. We're leaving April 2nd. We're returning April 9th. And our trip is presented by Dermatology and Plastic Surgery Associates and by Artistic Dentistry. Now, the exclusive Apple vacation price has expired, but there's still plenty of room on the plane, plenty of room at the resort. So if you want to join us in Cabo, you need to take action now. Again, we're staying at Secrets Puerto Los Cabos Golf and Spa Resort. Go online and check it out for yourself. Adults only, all-inclusive, all suites. It's brand new, and it has 8 restaurants with award-winning chefs, 4 bars, including a cigar bar for Dan and the listener who wants to smoke a cigar with Dan. There's 24-hour-a-day room service and, of course, all the amenities, bells and whistles. Let's go. Book your trip today. Visit 560theanswer.com, keyword escape, 560theanswer.com, keyword escape.
When's the last time you saw a pay raise? For many Illinois families, it's been years, unless you work for state government. AFSCME workers have seen their salaries grow 5 times faster than Illinois workers' median earnings over the last decade. And they get Cadillac health insurance that most Illinois families can't afford. But that's not enough for Illinois government workers. They're demanding more, $3 billion more. Enough is enough. It's time to stand up for Illinois taxpayers. Learn more and make your voice heard at illinoispolicy.org. Illinois' political class is crushing Illinois families. Illinoisans struggle to find good jobs and schools, and they struggle to pay for government workers who retire in their 50s and earn millions in retirement. Illinois Policy fights against the Springfield status quo on behalf of all families, not just the politically connected. See what Illinois' political class doesn't want you to read at illinoispolicy.org. Illinois Policy, Illinois' comeback story starts here.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Do you care about Trump's tax returns? Hugh Hewitt did, and he got slapped down by Donald Trump. We'll have that at 6:06.
And then later, former ambassador to the UN, John Bolton, will join us. But first, we join Mike Scott.
Bernie Sanders rallies in Chicago. Large wave sweeps a teen into Lake Michigan. The search continues. And in the Big Ten, Indiana routed Illinois in college hoops, while Dexter Fowler returns to the Cubs. Clouds and sunshine today in your forecast. WIND Chicago News Times, 6 o'clock.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. They can't believe it in a small town in Kansas.
Yeah, I feel like I'm in a nightmare right now.
She lives across the street from the guy who went on a shooting spree last night.
People in their white suits and everything come running and said, fire, fire. Well, I thought the place was on fire, and then I heard pop, pop, pop.
As one of his co-workers went on the attack at XL Industries, which makes lawnmowers in Heston.
There was literally nowhere to go.
Another man says the gunman pointed right at him, but there was a click. The guy was out of ammo, so he ran. Then police arrived.
Law enforcement confronted the shooter. Gunfire was exchanged between law enforcement and the shooter.
Killing him. Harvey County Sheriff T. Walton says that saved multiple lives. In the end, the man killed 3 people and injured 14, 10 of them critically. Why? We don't know his motive yet. Donald Trump hit from both sides last night.
First of all, this guy's a joke artist, and this guy's a liar.
After Marco Rubio and Ted Cruz attacked him hard and often at last night's CNN debate.
If he builds the wall the way he built Trump Towers, he'll be using illegal immigrant labor to do it.
Did you say if you want people to die on the streets, if you don't support socialized health care, you have no heart?
I will not let people die on the streets if I'm president.
Have you said you're a liberal on health care?
Excuse me, let me talk.
Trump's won 3 Republican contests in a row and leads in many polls before Super Tuesday next week. The U.S. has stepped up the fight against ISIS online. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, the Pentagon is launching a new aggressive cyber attacks against Islamic State militants in a targeted effort to erode their ability to recruit followers online. Officials not giving many details on the effort other than to say that the attacks include efforts to prevent the group from passing around propaganda, videos, or other types of recruiting and messaging on social media sites such as Twitter. Dave.
Rachel, the U.S. launched an unarmed Minuteman III missile from Vandenberg Air Force Base in California last night. This is the second test this month intended to send a message to nuclear adversaries like North Korea. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
This morning we have gray skies in Chicago, 29 degrees, and winds are out of the north at 10, leaving us with some lake effect snow showers still in northwest Indiana and in southwest lower Michigan. Traffic is moving again on Route 17 near the village of Grant Park, south of Chicago. That road on the Illinois-Indiana border was shut down. Blizzard shut for nearly a day because of the huge snowfall and high winds that stranded cars and trucks. Person of interest is in custody after a cab driver was found shot to death on Chicago's north side near Lincoln Square. Police say Camille Shamji was discovered Monday night with a gunshot wound to his head. As of last night, no charges have been filed. There is a recovery effort that is expected to resume later this morning after a 17-year-old boy fell into Lake Michigan, swept away by large waves off a concrete pier in Diversey Harbor. Democrat presidential candidate Bernie Sanders out pushing for votes in Chicago yesterday.
What we should be talking about is making public colleges and universities tuition free.
The Vermont senator hosting a rally last night at Chicago State University in front of about 6,000. Fantasy sports websites putting their money on a bill regulating their activities and trying to keep them in business in Illinois. AM 560's David Stewart has details.
The bill would set rules for sites like FanDuel and DraftKings, like players must be 18 and employees can't play. Stacey Stern of Head to Head Sports says the bill would settle the legal question of whether fantasy sports betting is a skill-based activity or an illegal game of chance.
These are not games of chance. You're not able to field a team of maybe some of your favorite stars and hope that they do well. That's not how it works.
Illinois Attorney General Lisa Madigan has issued a legal opinion that says fantasy sports sites do operate games of chance, making them illegal sports bets. David Stewart, Chicago.
Chicago sports. Nashville beat the Blackhawks 3-1. That was lousy, but making the night really good. Andrew Ladd is back, coming over in a trade with Winnipeg, the former Blackhawk forward, reuniting with his old squad. College hoops last night. DePaul over St. John's 83-75. Indiana topped Illinois 74-47. The news, a service of Unbound. Right now, there's a girl in India who dreams bigger than her village and an elder in Guatemala who dreams of life of greater dignity. You can help change the future of one person. Begin the change at unbound.org. 6:04 is our time. Time to check the climate of your business with aircomfort.com. 80 years of quality mechanical solutions for your business. And a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Sean Hannity hopes now is the time the Senate will stand up to the president.
Mitch McConnell, the Senate Majority Leader, declared that he's not going to act on any Supreme Court nomination by Obama, declaring the vacancy should not be filled until after Obama leaves office. And I hope these guys hold the line. They have all the power to stop this. There's nothing that will stop them from doing it except if they get in their own way.
The Sean Hannity Show. Afternoons at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
If your company needs custom metal fabrication products, then you should know AM 560 Feed the Children business benefactor Lockport Steel Fabricators. For over 7 decades, from the smallest project to major commercial construction, Lockport Steel's family of companies has excelled at manufacturing a diverse product mix, including structural steel, miscellaneous metals, aluminum extrusions, and more. Imagine the peace of mind knowing you're working with a national company that's AISC certified right here in Chicagoland. Customers know Lockport Steel focuses on getting your job done right, on time, and to exact needs and specs. Immediate turnaround service is also available. Discover why all types of major industries, including oil and gas, power generation, telecommunications, store fixtures, and commercial construction companies, trust Lockport Steel to make it happen for them. Visit lockportsteel.com or call Greg Radecki today at 815-927-4401 for a no obligation quote and consultation. Lockport Steel Fabricators, making it happen. That's lockportsteel.com.
SquareTrade does not cover lost or stolen items. Savings based on 2-year iPhone plan with one claim compared to Assured total equipment coverage as of August 10, 2015.
Getting a new iPhone? Don't overpay for phone insurance. Save with SquareTrade Phone Protection instead. Phone insurance through your wireless carrier can cost as much as $11 every month, plus up to a $199 deductible when you break your phone. SquareTrade iPhone protection is less than $5 a month. We can save you over $240.
Start saving with SquareTrade now. Visit squaretrade.com. That's squaretrade.com.
Uber is an app that helps you make extra money just for driving your car. And because it's totally flexible, you don't have to quit your day job to make more money, because you can drive and earn whenever you want. There are 3 simple steps to start making money. First, sign up for free on your phone. Second, answer a few questions and get approved. And third, start driving. So, what are you waiting for? Sign up today at drivewithuber.com. That's drivewithuber.com.
6:07 in our ChicagoRadioDeals.com traffic center. Let's get the very latest this morning with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Adams Tollway eastbound I-90. It's stop and go from 31 to past Beverly Road, where a crash has moved to the right shoulder. The Edens is still fine. The Kennedy delay-free as well. Inbound Eisenhower, little heavy past Manhunt. 30 minutes Thorndale to downtown. Outbound fine at 29. Stevenson, slow Pulaski to Kedzie, and from the Ryan to Lakeshore Drive. 40 minutes, 3:55 to the drive. Outbound clear. Ryan is 21 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, just a little heavy approach to the merge. Bishop Ford, about a 4-minute delay starting at 103rd. Traffic service of Unbound. In places around the world, there are elders who long for community, connection, and the opportunity to live with greater dignity. Sponsor an elder through Unbound and help bring a brighter tomorrow to one person who has helped us all build a better world. Meet one at unbound.org. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. And your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Aircomfort.com, 80 years of quality mechanical solutions for your business. Here's meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Clouds and sun today with a high 36, then a clear night, low 28. Mostly sunny and breezy tomorrow with a high 52. Patchy clouds at night, low 41. Sun followed by clouds with a shower in spots Sunday, high 61. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
In Chicago this morning, 28 degrees at O'Hare. It's 32 along Chicago's lakefront. Next news at 6:30. And Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Grow My Retirement with Bill Geiger of Geiger Wealth. Tune in Saturday afternoons at 2 for Grow My Retirement with Bill Geiger of Geiger Wealth.
Good morning. Welcome to your Friday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
The nice part about you have many different plans. You'll have competition. You'll have so many different plans.
But now he's repeating himself.
No, I'm not repeating. No.
I declare, I'm not going to pay for that. He should pay for it. He's got the money.
Yes, this is. We have no more information about this phone. The only way to get information, at least currently, the only way we know, would be to write a piece of software that we view as sort of the software equivalent of cancer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning. What up, Dan and Amy? So last night's debate, a lot of back and forth, a lot of barbs exchanged.
Which candidate said choke artist? Dan.
Which candidate said choke artist?
Yes. Which candidate described someone as a choke artist?
That sounds like Donald Trump to me.
Bingo. What about a basket case? Who called someone a basket case?
Was that a choke artist? Was that Trump referring to Romney?
No, Trump referring to Rubio, and basket case was Trump referring to Ted Cruz.
Yeah. Well, do you care about Trump's tax returns? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro, answer line 64636DA, turnkey.pro, text line. Trump was asked about them last night after Romney introduced the issue. Rubio and Cruz are both releasing the last 2 years of their tax returns today to try and advance the issue. Our friend, colleague, Hugh Hewitt.
Hugh, the Hewster.
On the Salem Network.
Do you know that he went to Ohio State? I don't know if anybody knows that, but in case you don't, he did.
Yeah, I also know he went to JFK school at Harvard, too. That is well established. Hugh Hewitt dared to wade into this water of asking Trump about his tax returns, but he couldn't get the question out before he got a gratuitous slap from Trump, which Hugh took in stride, kind of just smirked. It was kind of funny.
Go ahead. Mr. Trump.
Are you going to ask anybody else a question?
Every
single question comes to me?
Mr. Trump.
I know I'm good for the ratings, but it's a little bit ridiculous.
No, but Mr. Trump, a year ago, you told me on my radio show, the audio and the transcript are out there on YouTube, that you would release your tax returns. True. Are you going back on your
No, I'm not.
commitment?
First of all, very few people listen to your radio show. That's the good news. Let me just tell you. Which happens to be true. Check out the ratings. Look, let me just tell you something. I want to release my tax returns, but I can't release it while I'm under an audit. We're under a routine audit. I've had it for years. I get audited. And obviously, if I'm being audited, I'm not going to release a return. As soon as the audit is done, I love it.
All right. Well, Dan, how long do audits take? I mean, if he's used to being audited, he said 12 years now. They should be pretty good at it. They should be used to the system and just get it done and then release them.
Well, and then
but I don't trust him that he'll release them because I think he's hiding something.
The argument, too, was made, well, release returns that are not related to the ongoing audit. And he said, well, they're all intertwined. In addition to that, why is Trump getting audited? Now, he's all of a sudden been reminded, because the question has been asked, that he has been treated unfairly by the IRS. Why is he getting audited when other rich guys he knows are not getting audited? He started to make this point after the debate in the kind of the post-debate interview.
Well,
And
Ben Carson mentioned that he was audited.
well, that's right.
And I have it.
But we're talking about Trump first.
Okay.
And Trump is suggesting, again, he has not suggested up until this point, despite the IRS abuses under the Obama administration, this is the first time now that he's being queried about his tax returns that he has been reminded he has been treated unfairly by the IRS, and he may have happened upon the reason he is being audited, that he's being targeted
Let me guess.
by the IRS.
Does it have something to do with God?
But the one problem I have is that I'm always audited by the IRS, which I think is very unfair. I don't know, maybe because of religion, maybe because of something else, maybe because I'm doing this, although this is just recently.
What do you mean religion?
Well, maybe because of the fact that I'm a strong Christian and I feel strongly about it, and maybe there's a bias.
You think maybe you get audited for being a strong Christian?
You see what's happened. I mean, you have many religious groups that are complaining about that. They've been complaining about it for a long time.
So
but
release the ones that aren't audited. This seems like an easy answer for you.
So he's a victim of the IRS because he's a Christian?
No. Because he's a strong Christian, implying that he's a strong, outspoken Christian, which I think is fairly a recent phenomenon, Mr. 2 Corinthians.
Well, you know what? I think that that might be a problem.
2 Corinthians, right? 2 Corinthians 3:17. That's the whole ball game.
That is the whole ball game.
Well, then I think a lot
theological scholar.
Yeah, I think a lot of us are going to get audited then. If Donald Trump's getting audited because he's a strong Christian, watch out, America.
I have to tell you, I am less interested in Trump's tax returns and much more interested in his absurd conjecture about the audit and about why he is being audited by the IRS. Actually, this whole thing goes to a plea I have for Trump supporters from Ted Cruz. I'm going to wear the cloak of Ted Cruz and make a plea to Trump supporters. But
you
I'll wait
are similar. You and Ted Cruz remind me a lot of each other.
Exactly.
Well, because you're both great debaters.
You're
both always the smartest person in the room.
Both delightful, good looking.
And you know what? Sometimes a little nasty.
Good
looking. You
looking.
could be nasty. Oh, you know what? Hotter than heck. Yeah.
On fire.
Hotter than HE double hockey sticks.
En fuego.
Yeah. Well, how's your calendar shoot going?
Yeah, it's very
what did you wear for the month of May?
It's very tasteful.
Yeah.
You know, that's a surprise.
Let me know when that comes out.
I'll show a little leg, but you have to buy the calendar.
Naughty.
So that was one exchange, the whole audit tax returns thing.
Yeah.
So the other one that was interesting was about, and this kind of was all wrapped into one, job creation and immigration and national security. But Trump and Rubio talking about jobs. This was a fun exchange where both got their shots in.
Again, I just want to reiterate, I think it's really important, this point. I think it's fine. It's an important point that you raise and we discuss on immigration. This is a big issue for Texas, a huge issue for the country. But I also think that if you're going to claim that you're the only one that lifted this into the campaign, that you acknowledge that, for example, you're the only person on the stage that's ever been fined for hiring people to work on your projects illegally. You hired some workers from Poland.
I'm the only one on the stage that's hired people. You haven't hired anybody.
Some of the people he hired.
Booyah!
Kind of
Ding one for Trump.
Yeah, you walked into that buzzsaw, but
it was a ruckus evening. I mean, I did not see that coming, but kudos to Marco Rubio. I love him. He emerged. That was his coming out party last night. Now, it took 10 debates for him to get there, but he has gotten there, but it might be a little too late.
Now, on the Trump, I hired foreign workers because I couldn't find Americans to do the job. This is one of the arguments that big business makes in favor of comprehensive immigration reform, in favor of amnesty. It's the first time Trump has said it. Ian Tuttle and National Review Online had more on this aspect of the story that was raised, and boy, is this coming late in the game. But nevertheless, Trump turned down 94% of American job applicants to his Mar-a-Lago club in Palm Beach, Florida, in favor of foreign workers brought in under the H-2B visa program. Over the course of the campaign, in the early 90s, Donald Trump was a 30-something real estate up-and-comer embarking on what would be for a while the tallest all-glass structure in Manhattan and what remains the centerpiece of the Trump architectural empire. That's the Trump Tower. And the first leg of the project was too important to trust to American workers, says Tuttle. In a lawsuit filed in Manhattan federal court, members of House Wreckers Local 95 alleged that to avoid paying union employees their pension welfare benefits, Trump and the contractor he used brought in some 200 undocumented Polish workers to demolish the Bonwit Teller building that then occupy the site of the future Trump Tower. So you've got the Mar-a-Lago issue, and you've got the Trump Tower issue back in the early 80s, 35 years ago. That's what he was referring to at the debate when he said, that was 38 years ago, and Marco Rubio's rejoinder, there's a statute of limitations on lying. Yeah, it was a good line, too. All right, let's take some of your calls. Frank in Arlington Heights, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, Dan, I just think you're wrong on immigration. It's not about, bringing people in, legally to have a comprehensive immigration, plan and having, legal people come in. This whole immigration debate is about making sure that wages are high enough here in America for people. Our entire economy has been eviscerated by free trade, by immigration, legal and illegal. We need to raise the wages of our people here.
I appreciate the perspective, Frank. I mean, I just disagree with the idea that we should be protectionists, that we somehow stop the flow of legal immigration into this country to protect the status quo. Or to some, if you believe in the free movement of capital, then you have to tell me why you don't believe in the free movement of labor. You're protecting industries, protectionist policies, whether it's a sector like the auto industry in the 70s, which decimated the U.S. auto industry because it couldn't compete, because it was protected from competition. That's the same thing that you apply to the labor force. You want competition.
Competition is good.
It's good.
And doesn't it drive down prices?
Well, it produces better goods and services at lower costs. And remember, I understand. I want everybody to make as much money as they can. I do, and I expect everybody else to try and do the same.
Thanks for sharing it with me, too.
Hey.
I appreciate it.
It's what I do. I'm a wealth creator. But the idea that, I should say, the idea is this. You have to look at economics from a macro perspective. What is in the best interest of the consumer? If you always look at this, what is the best interest of the consumer, then you're advancing civilization. And those people that want higher wages, they also want lower prices too, don't they? Because they're consumers. So you can't just look at one end of this. And some people that favor some of these protectionist policies or are pumping their fists when Trump is declaring a trade war on Mexico or China, they're actually on the side of hurting their own pocketbooks. You can't protect.
But they're just part of a movement. They don't even hear. They're not listening to the details of his message because there are no details. But you just laid it out beautifully. So I want to thank you, Dan.
I do what I can.
You've made the switch, and it feels so good. You've switched to Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Who would want to debate with Senator Ted Cruz? Ooh, did you see him? At one point in time, he got in Donald Trump's face. But first, here's your forecast. Today, intervals of clouds and some sunshine, a high of 36 degrees. And then this weekend is just going to be unbelievably warm. Saturday, mostly sunny and breezy, a high of 51. And on Sunday, some sun, then increasing clouds with a shower in spots. It's going to be downright kind of hot and humid, a high of 61 degrees. Our average high this time of year is 25. Let's get the travel times. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy. Good morning. Good morning, Dan. South Shoreline. We got a problem. Westbound train 108 is stopped west of Carroll Avenue in Michigan City. There's mechanical problems. We'll keep an eye on the South Shoreline after yesterday's repairs got the trains going again. In Deer Park, signals are flashing red at 12 and Lake Cook. Expect delays. South side of Chicago, 35th and Wentworth. A report of a person hit by a car and a possible hit and run. Police and fire responders are there. Eden's inbound, 19 minutes still. Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound the same. The Kennedy, 22 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound 21. The Eisenhower, 32 minutes. Thorndale to the Loop, outbound still fine at 29. The Stevenson is 40 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. The Ryan, 21 minutes, 95th to downtown. Eastbound Adams Tollway, very slow, 31 to Barrington Road. Then heavy Roselle to 53. I'm Jim Talamonte, ChicagoRadioDeals.com Traffic Center.
Change in the market shouldn't be a surprise to anyone. In fact, since World War II, we've seen a correction on average about once every 18 months. That's why Arlington Capital Management developed proprietary tools that help them to see what's beyond your investment horizon. Like an experienced ship captain uses tools to avoid stormy weather, Arlington Capital Management uses tools to guide you through market corrections before it's too late and help us decide when to capitalize on opportunity. Call Arlington Capital Management today at 855-471-5796 to learn how their active management systems can help you. Each day, they actively explore the market, our economy, and all the variables that affect your investments. Stormy markets never cloud their vision. The professionals at Arlington Capital Management use their tools and experience to guide them. Call Arlington Capital Management today at 855-471-5796 for a financial review. The number again is 855-471-5796 or learn more at arlington-capital.com.
Text from the Amish texter. To me, the most important news out of the debate last night was that Mitt Romney finally learned to attack a presidential candidate. I agree with that. Oh, Turnkey IT is a name you've come to know and trust on AM 560. Turnkey IT provides small businesses with IT resources that are normally reserved for Fortune 500 companies. They provide world-class network installations and ongoing IT support for fixed monthly rates based on the size of your network. In fact, Turnkey IT has a program that fits the needs of your business. Turnkey IT understands your business matters, and keeping you focused on it makes all the difference in the world. Best of all, their service can save you time and money. Turnkey IT can give you the peace of mind that backups are being executed, email is always available, files are secure, and you've got someone to call when you need help. Turnkey IT has people who are professional, friendly, on time, and a live person even answers the phone 24 hours a day. So visit turnkey.pro today for a plan that fits your needs. That's turnkey.pro.
Should you worry about identity theft during tax season? Yes. The IRS has reported over $6 billion in fraudulent refunds in a single year due to identity theft. Does it matter if you're not getting a refund this year? No. Thieves can use information from your tax documents to steal your identity well after tax season ends. Can disguising yourself make you less likely to have your identity stolen? No. Your friends might not recognize you, but it won't help with identity theft. Fortunately, LifeLock can help. If you're a victim, our U.S.-based team of specialists will work to resolve your case. If needed, we'll spend up to $1 million hiring lawyers and experts to set things right. Don't wait till you have a problem. Get LifeLock for peace of mind now and all year long. Memberships start at $9.99 a month plus applicable taxes. And now you can get 10% off. Go to LifeLock.com and enter promo code NEWS. LifeLock.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, we're talking about the debate last night, of course. One of the things that came up, we should provide a little background. Trump University, since that was brought up by Rubio and to some extent Cruz, but really Rubio tried to make that case. So Trump University is not really a university. It was set up to provide a series of business and real estate-focused seminars, some online, and mentorship programs, right? So there's a class action lawsuit filed against the now-defunct Trump University that was filed in 2010. Trump may have to testify. He is on the witness list for both sides. He may have to testify before the final primaries in the case. One of the claims in the class action suit that's filed in California that representatives of Trump U would try and get people to sign up for a one-year apprentice program offering a comprehensive real estate education as well as access to mentors for a year at a cost of $1,495. But the one-year program turned out to be a 3-day seminar aimed at convincing students to pay $35,000 for a quote-unquote full education. During the program, students were told to raise their credit card limits by 4 times so they could purchase property. However, the students were then asked to use the increased credit to buy gold program seminar, the documents claim. They were told participating in this program would give them access to mentors and deals that would teach them how to earn up to tens of thousands of dollars a month doing real estate investing. The lawsuit claims few of the opportunities actually materialized. This sounds very much.
Marco Rubio brought that up last night.
Yeah, without this level of detail.
Right.
But
people got bamboozled. I mean, it's a fraudulent program, and eventually they're hopefully going to get their money back.
Well,
but was Trump in on this, or did they just use his name and his image for this?
Well, that's right. Remember, it's a civil lawsuit. There's no criminal wrongdoing that's been alleged. The New York Attorney General did file a $40 million suit against Trump in 2013 over Trump University, but there's some political behind the scenes on that as well. But the bottom line is, it sounds like, he was running essentially like a real estate infomercial. You have no money, so you buy a piece of property, one of those like Carlton Sheets programs you'd see at 2 a.m. on television.
Quick. Yeah, let's do it.
Right. So that was what, but I mean, again, so this was raised and there's a little bit of back and forth, but people don't know these details. And why is this coming 5 days before 12 states go to the polls?
It should have been brought up months ago. Yeah. Quickly, do we have time? My favorite part of the debate was when your guy, Ted Cruz, took on Donald Trump about health care. He wanted more specifics about Trump's plan.
Donald, true or false, you've said the government should pay for everyone's health care.
That's false.
You've never said that.
No, I never. I said it worked in a couple of countries, but
you've never stood on this debate stage and says it works great in Canada and Scotland, and we should do it here. Did you say if you want people to die on the streets, if you don't support sexualized health care, you have no heart?
I will not let people die on the streets if I'm president.
Have you said you're a liberal on health care?
Excuse me, let me talk.
Talk away. Explain your plan, please.
My plan is very simple. I will not. We're going to have private health care, but I will not allow people to die on the sidewalks and the streets of our country if I'm president. You may let it, and you may be fine with it.
Does the government pay for everyone's health care?
We are going to take those people and
just answer the question.
Excuse me. We are going to.
You got a taste of that. I mean, this man, Ted Cruz, attorney Ted Cruz, has litigated in front of the U.S. Supreme Court. I thought he drilled Donald Trump. He just wanted the answers.
Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Hi, I'm Lex Howard, CEO of Balance of Nature. I occasionally take new customer calls, and often people tell me that they have been hearing our advertisements for years. What are you waiting for? Start now and begin experiencing the benefits of Balance of Nature in your life.
I actually believe that it is working because I went to have my thyroid TSH level checked and my T3 and 4, and in October originally it was at 3. My TSH was at 3.28, and Monday's test came out to 0.63. I do believe that it has something to do with it.
Good health is just a phone call away. What are you waiting for? Call now and take the health challenge to get a free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
Over a half century ago, a respected establishment opened in Lake County, Illinois. What started as a hobby to Mike Schrank has served generations of firearm customers that are treated like family. Schrank's Smoke and Gun Shop retains that family atmosphere, and now they carry the largest selection of new, used, and consignment firearms in Lake County. Over 800, including pistols, rifles, shotguns, plus hard-to-find calibers and ammunitions, even collectibles, older functioning hunting rifles, and full gunsmith services. Whether you're thinking about your first firearm and FOID card or looking to add to your collection, now is the perfect time to discover Schrank's. Every store-owned firearm is up to 40% off right now. It's their annual store-wide sale. It goes until the 27th of this month. So if you love cigars, you can also find your favorites in Schrank's humidors. Visit smoke_gun.org. That's smoke_gun.org. Or call 847-662-4034. Schrank's Smoke and Gun in Waukegan, your family-owned store since 1964. That's 847-662-4034. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We're pleased to be joined by our friend, Ambassador John Bolton, to talk Gitmo and Trump and peace in the Middle East. That's at 6:36.
And then later, a comedy festival that has different prices if you're a white male. But first, into the newsroom we go. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, GOP presidential candidates barreling into each other down the final stretch towards Super Tuesday. Name-calling, insult trading, finger-pointing. Well, it was a debate in Houston last night as Marco Rubio and Ted Cruz engaged in a tag team intended to take down frontrunner Donald Trump, who was asked how he'd get Mexico to pay for a wall.
I will, and the wall just got 10 feet taller, believe me.
Trump and Florida Senator Marco Rubio traded personal jabs as well in their debate over business, immigration, and hiring practices. CNN's Wolf Blitzer struggled to keep control, and then Quiet Ben Carson said he wanted more speaking time.
Governor Kasich, you have the floor. Governor,
I get a response to that.
You will have a response, but I promised Governor Kasich he could respond. Can somebody attack me, please?
Okay, here, Wolf. Candidate Ben Carson last night on CNN. Nevada GOP Governor Brian Sandoval this morning says he's not interested in being a candidate for U.S. Supreme Court. It was widely reported that President Obama was considering the former federal judge and moderate Republican as a potential replacement for Justice Antonin Scalia. Police this morning are still investigating the motives of a gunman who killed 3 and wounded a dozen at a Kansas factory where he worked. Authorities in Heston, north of Wichita, say 38-year-old Cedric Ford went on nearly a half-an-hour-long shooting spree yesterday.
Inside the building, he shot a total of 15 people. 4 were killed, including himself, the shooter.
Harvey County Sheriff T. Walton. The FBI's fight with Apple over encrypted iPhones is one of the hardest questions Director James Comey has ever dealt with. He went before Congress on Thursday.
This world some people imagine where nobody can look at your stuff is a world that will have public safety costs. Now, we may decide, okay, it's worth it, but we shouldn't go there without people understanding.
The phone in question belongs to one of the dead terrorists who killed 14 in San Bernardino, California, last year. A person of interest is in custody this morning after a cab driver was found shot to death this week on the north side. Camille Shamji was discovered Monday unresponsive inside a taxi parked in Lincoln Square. As of late last night, no charges have been filed. And the U.S. U.S. Appeals Court here in Chicago says a Somali man who you're probably familiar with because of a movie, convicted for an act of piracy that inspired that Hollywood movie, cannot withdraw a guilty plea. Chicago Daily Law Bulletin reporting the court ruled that the man is bound by a plea deal that says he will not challenge that plea based on disputes over his age. You may recall Navy snipers killed all the other pirates except for that man on the Maersk, Alabama. That movie, Captain Phillips, starred Tom Hanks depicting the 2009 hijacking of the Maersk, Alabama. Lower court judge determined here in Chicago that the man was at least 18 during the hijacking, so he was prosecuted as an adult. The man claimed he had been 16 and was sentenced to around 33 years in prison. Chicago sports, Nashville beat the Blackhawks 3-1. Also last night, the Hawks reacquire forward Andrew Ladd in a trade with Winnipeg. College hoops, DePaul over St. John's. Indiana topped the Fighting Illini in the Big Ten. And the news, a service of Mothers Against Drunk Driving. For victims of drunk and drug driving, their grief is unique, but you are not alone. MAD is here to help. Call their 24-hour victim helpline, 877-MAD-HELP, mad.org, madd.org. Check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager respectfully disagrees with Donald Trump supporters.
I respect the supporters of Donald Trump. There are a lot of good and thoughtful people who support him. I have more evidence not to support him than you have to support him. I disagree with you fundamentally on his character, on his experience, and on his values. Period.
The Dennis Prager Show. Weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2, on AM 560. The Answer.
Wheaton's Masters in Theology offers close faculty mentorship and advanced biblical training. Become equipped for a career in ministry and doctoral work. Apply by March 1st at wheaton.edu/theologyma. The following is a paid political announcement.
Are you tired of career politicians and their empty promises? I'm Gordon J. Kinsler, and I want to be your next congressman in the 6th District. I'm running in the Republican primary on March 15th against an incumbent who has lost his way and recently voted with a majority of Democrats on a budget bill, resulting in the GOP Congress losing all leverage over an out-of-control executive branch. I'm not a career politician. I've not accepted donations from big corporation or super PACs. I serve in local government. I'm a surgeon. I'm an Army Reserve Lieutenant Colonel and family man. I support strengthening our national defense, balancing our national budget, strengthening our economy, and securing our borders. The experience I have gained in public, medical, and military service makes me the best candidate to represent you in the 6th District. You finally have a real conservative choice. Take this opportunity to send a message to Washington and career politicians that you're not going to take it anymore. Vote for Gordon J. Kinsler on March 15th. For more information, go to kinslerforcongress.com.
Paid for and authorized by the Kinsler for Congress Committee.
6:37 in our Chicago RadioDeals.com traffic center. The latest now with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. The South Shoreline has minor delays and earlier mechanical problems on a westbound train. It's running 15 to 20 minutes late. South side, police are investigating an alleged hit and run at 35th and Wentworth. Eden's inbound, 22 minutes late, Cook to Montrose. Outbound 19. The Kennedy, 26 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound 22. The Eisenhower is 40 minutes. Thorndale to downtown, outbound 32. Stevenson, 45 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan, 27 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, Bishop Ford, fairly mild delays approaching the merge. Eastbound Adams Tollway, slow, 59 at Bartlett Road with a stall in the right lane, then jammed Higgins to Meacham. The other tollways are good. Traffic is a service, Boys and Girls Club of America. It's 3 p.m. School's out for America's kids, and when school's out, clubs are in. Time to support the Boys and Girls Clubs. Visit greatfutures.org. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the aircomfort.com Weather Center, aircomfort.com. 80 years of quality mechanical solutions for your business. Clouds and sun today, high 36. Will drop to a low of 29 overnight. And a breezy and sunny day ahead tomorrow, high 51. 30 at O'Hare, 32 along the lakefront. Next news coming up at 7. And Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by HealthQuest Radio with Dr. David Kolbaba. HealthQuest Radio is heard Saturday mornings at 11 o'clock here on AM 560, The Answer.
Let freedom ring this afternoon at 2 with Sean Hannity, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So, 4 hours is barely enough time to get all the zingers in that were bouncing around that hall at the University of Houston last night. Here's one of my favorites. This is from Ted Cruz talking about Donald Trump being the only person talking about immigration or talking about border security. Where was Donald Trump when Ted Cruz was leading the fight against the Gang of Eight legislation?
But let me say, Wolf, I really find it amazing that Donald believes that he is the one who discovered the issue of illegal immigration. I can tell you when I ran for Senate here in the state of Texas, I ran promising to lead the fight against amnesty, promising to fight to build a wall. And in 2013, when I was leading the fight against the Gang of Eight amnesty bill, where was Donald? He was firing Dennis Rodman on Celebrity Apprentice.
Our Dennis Rodman.
Bazinga.
Yeah, nice parallel action there. I like that.
Well, and it's a perfect segue. We go from the reference of one diplomat, Dennis Rodman.
Oh, yes, because he's been to North Korea. He's friends with Kim Jong-il.
Kim
Jong-un, excuse me.
Yes.
Kim Jong.
Yes. Keep going. And also make a racist impersonation while you're at it, too. Bazinga! What are you Al D'Amato?
I'm not
All right, take
well
it easy
today.
over there.
Sorry.
Yes, you're right. Dennis Rodman, our de facto ambassador to North Korea. This is a real ambassador. His name is John Bolton. You may remember him as the U.S. ambassador to the UN, and he joins us now. Ambassador Bolton, thanks for joining us.
Good morning. Glad to be with you. Thanks for having me.
So I'm going to tee one up for you here. We'll start off with an easy one.
That sounds like bad news.
Yeah. Well, never ends well. Just hit it long and straight, okay?
I mean, the president-elect has said this, so we have to discuss it. President-elect Trump said that in order to have a better chance to achieve peace in the Middle East, we can't appear too pro-Israeli. So if he takes a bit of a neutral position between the sides, that has a better chance of striking a deal. What do you say to that?
Well, no, I think that's simply wrong. I mean, it was clear if you go back to the example of the Camp David agreement between Egypt and Israel during the Carter administration, there was no doubt where the United States stood. But what it was trying to do was facilitate Israel and Egypt reaching a peace agreement. And because, as much as anything, of the visionary leadership of Egyptian President Anwar Sadat, that happened. There's no conflict of interest between the United States taking a strong pro-Israeli view and being a critical element to any progress on the Middle East. I think it's in the Middle East in particular, what we face now after 7 years of the Obama administration is spreading chaos. Not just ISIS, not just the Iran nuclear weapons program and its support for terrorism, but all across North Africa and the Middle East, state structures are falling apart, conflict is growing, refugee flows are increasing, and this is the last point in time when the United States needs to be neutral about anything there. It's the absence of a strong American presence and clear American goals, I think, have contributed to Russia's involvement and this general and spreading chaos.
Well, in addition to that, I mean, with the tense and the tense relationship between Obama and Netanyahu and the relationship between the two countries disintegrating to some extent. The time to play Switzerland with Israel is not now. It seems like you would want a presidential nominee of both parties to be, hey, we need to reestablish, we need to strengthen the ties that bind between our one true ally in the Middle East.
Yeah, well, of course, in that sense, what Donald Trump is proposing is a warming of U.S.-Israel relations. Just to get back to neutral would be an improvement over what we have now, because I think there's no doubt that Barack Obama's been the most hostile president we've ever had toward the modern state of Israel. And I might say I don't see any fundamental distinction between his view and that of Hillary Clinton, Bernie Sanders, John Kerry, Joe Biden, just to name all the possible Democratic nominees, the latter two in the event that Hillary gets indicted. So I do think that this is an issue that's going to concern a lot of Americans, a possibility on the Democratic side of 4 or 8 years of a continuation of the Obama policy, and they're going to want to hear something on the Republican side. I think from the U.S. interest point of view, a strong pro-Israel U.S. posture is critical to our interest. And, if it's good politics for the Republican nominee, well, so much the better.
Ambassador Bolton, last night during the debate, and correct me if I'm wrong, I didn't hear anybody talking about the closing of Gitmo. Did that surprise you, or were you hoping to hear from the candidates debate that issue?
Well, no, absolutely. I think it was something over an hour into the debate before we had the first foreign policy question. And, that actually represents a reversal of the trend I thought was underway, that there was more serious discussion of international affairs and the critical role of the president, which, after all, is the job we're talking about, to protect the country. That's the president's preeminent constitutional duty. And it's one reason I don't like this format at all. I don't even like calling them debates. It's very hard to have a 30-second answer on foreign and defense policy matters, and the kind of gong show approach that we see to these things, and it was in full view last night. I mean, I just think it's unpresidential and demeaning to have presidential candidates appealing for 30 seconds to rebut some 30-second allegation by another presidential candidate. And I think especially in the field of national security, where you do want to see judgment and character and the kinds of qualities that you need in a president in times of crisis, you're not going to find that in this kind of debate.
President Obama made 3 arguments for closing Gitmo. 1, it's a recruitment tool for terrorists. 2, it's not consistent with our values to keep enemy combatants behind bars, I guess. And 3, that it costs too much. Your response?
Well, he's wrong on all 3. Number 1, as a recruitment tool, the president just doesn't understand the difference between a pretext and a cause of Islamic radicalism. The day he succeeds in closing Gitmo, the propagandists in Al-Qaeda and ISIS and elsewhere will simply find a new pretext, and American civilization is filled with them. I think, if anything, the closing of Gitmo would be such a sign of weakness that the radicals would use it to their advantage. They say, see, push the Americans, and they back down. Second, in terms of our values, look, the Geneva Conventions, which I don't even think apply to terrorists who are being held because they don't represent a country. They don't meet the criteria of the Geneva Conventions. They're not part of an organization. They don't wear uniforms. On and on and on. And by the way, they haven't subscribed to the Geneva Convention. But even apart from all that, the Geneva Convention on Prisoners of War is unambiguous that you can hold prisoners of war for the duration of the conflict. This conflict is still going on, in case the president had noticed. And in terms of cost, yes, the cost is high. That facility in Gitmo is the equivalent of a pretty nice American hotel. I mean, these people, would they rather live in a cave in Waziristan or get 3 squares a day in Gitmo? I mean, they're doing well. They don't have to live that well.
So the most dangerous terrorists, the prisoners, they're going to be released if Obama has his way, and there's word that they might go to Kansas or Colorado. But what about the mastermind behind 9/11 and the mastermind behind the attack on the USS Cole? Where are they going to go?
Well, there's a lot of speculation that they're going to be simply given back to their country of origin, and we'll hear a lot of rhetoric that their countries of origin have pledged to keep them incarcerated, make sure they don't return to terrorism. That's worth the paper it's printed on. So I think that the president's simply pursuing an ideological obsession at this point. Let's not forget of the hundreds, even thousands of people who have been held at Gitmo since the 9/11 attack and our response to it. These last 90 people in there are the worst of the worst. These are precisely the people we should put in there and throw away the key until the global war on terrorism is over, which is going to be a long time from now, unfortunately.
All right. He is Ambassador John Bolton, senior fellow at the American Enterprise Institute. Ambassador Bolton, thanks for joining us as always. Appreciate it.
Well, I appreciate your having me again. Thanks a lot.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Warm weekend awaits us, but we have to get through this Friday first, which isn't too bad. Average temperature this time of year, about 25 degrees, going up to a high today of 36 with intervals of clouds and sunshine. Then on Saturday, mostly sunny, breezy, a high of 51 degrees. And on Sunday, wow, sun, then increasing clouds, possibility of a shower in spots, but get this, a high of 61 degrees. Anything dramatic out on the roadways? Here's Jim Telemonte.
Amy, on the south side, I have an alleged hit and run, 35th and Wentworth. Police and fire responders are at that intersection. Northwest suburbs, Rand and Lake Cook signals are flashing red, so expect delays. Edens is 23 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 19. The Kennedy, now 30 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound just 22. Eisenhower, 46 minutes, Thorndale to the Loop, outbound 34. Stevenson, 46 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound it's fine. Ryan, 27 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 19 minutes, I-80 to the merge. Bishop Ford, 16. The eastbound Adams Tollway has delays. 59 to Bartlett Road after a stall. And then it's tied up as well. Higgins to Meacham. The other tollways are light. Major roads in northwest Indiana look good. I'm Jim Talamonte, ChicagoRadioDeals.com, Traffic Center.
I'm Lou Dobbs. Several important economic reports due out today. Halliburton trimming its workforce and the latest on the recall of some Toyota SUVs. Those stories next.
I'm Nick Soboleski, a Select Quote agent with a true story that could save you hundreds of dollars a year. A woman named Linda just called. Her husband, Ray, has a $300,000 group life insurance policy, but is changing jobs and can't take it with him. Well, I impartially shopped the highly rated term life insurance companies we represent and found Ray, who is 41 and takes medication to control his cholesterol, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $26 a month. That's almost twice the coverage for less than half of what he had paid. If SelectQuote hasn't shopped for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your free quote, call 1-800-431-0848. That's 1-800-431-0848. 1-800-431-0848. Or go to SelectQuote.com. We shop. You save. Get full details on the example policy at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Your price can vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors not available in all states.
Several significant economic snapshots out today. We'll have the latest gross domestic product reading, the GDP, the broadest measure of economic activity. We'll also learn the latest on personal incomes, international trade, and consumer confidence. It appears the global recall of almost 3 million Toyota SUVs triggered by a Canadian investigation into a crash in which 2 people were killed. Last week, Toyota announced the recall because a severe crash could cut rear seat belts that prevent the belts from restraining passengers. Slumping crude oil prices causing Halliburton to cut its workforce again by an additional 8%. 5,000 people will lose their jobs. 22,000 employees have already lost their jobs at the oil field services provider since 2014. Please join me for Lou Dobbs tonight at 7 and 11 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
Running a business can be challenging, especially here in Illinois. You face mountains of regulations on top of mountains of taxes and fees, not to mention new Obamacare requirements. Business owners who manage to survive and thrive deserve to be recognized, and that's exactly what we here at AM 560 The Answer are going to do. This spring, we'll be hitting the road in the AM 560 Business Tour presented by Signature Bank. It's a way for us to celebrate local businesses who are overcoming the odds and succeeding in spite of the many challenges they face. We want to give back to the business community by broadcasting this show live from various locations throughout Chicagoland. Does your business have a great success story? If so, we want to hear about it. Go to 560theanswer.com/business. Fill out the brief form to tell us about how you and your business are beating the odds to serve your clients in your community. And we'll select several businesses as stops on our AM 560 Business Tour. We're broadcast from your location to share your success with our audience. We hope to inspire other business owners and show the world that, yes, you did build that. So go to 560theanswer.com/business to tell us your story. And we may be stopping at your location this spring on the AM 560 Business Tour.
There are two kinds of pain that goes away and the worst kind, chronic pain. If you suffer from chronic pain, life is not complete and it can be miserable. Unfortunately, most people use narcotics that mask the pain. You need to find the source of the chronic pain and get relief.
This is Dr. Ken Candido of Chicago Anesthesia Pain Specialists. We're serious players in the management of pain, and our team are national leaders, as well as being educators in the treatment of pain. We will work with you to diminish or eliminate your pain and help you get your life back. You know, there's a nationwide narcotics epidemic, and people are too quick to mask over chronic pain instead of looking for the cause and treating or eliminating the pain. Contact us. We will help you.
Go to mypainchicago.com. Call and make an appointment with some of the best pain people in the nation, located here in Chicago. mypainchicago.com. You or someone you know suffers in the suffering of chronic pain. mypainchicago.com. Let's make you pain-free.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, so your friend at Missouri.
Oh, yeah. Good old Melissa Click.
Hey, Rocco Muse, help Melissa Click find the exit.
Yeah, she gone.
Yeah.
As your people on the White Sox. Who's it? Hank? What's his name? Who's that? Hawk Harrelson.
Seriously, you don't know who Hawk Harrelson is?
No, I know.
Seriously?
I'm sorry. Hawk Harrelson. I know him. Hank Harrelson. You know the Hankster? No. Yeah, she's gone. An executive session was held on Wednesday, Dan, and the school boards of curators voted 4-2. Can you believe it? 4-2. It wasn't a unanimous decision to terminate Click. She was a communications assistant at the University of Missouri. I talked to my nephew who goes to Mizzou. He said, everybody's happy. Because not only was she caught, doing this on tape.
Hi, Media. Can I talk to you?
No, you need to get out. You need to get out.
No, I don't.
You need to get out.
I actually don't.
All right. Hey, who wants to help me get this reporter out of here? I need some muscle over here. Help me get him out. Who's going to help me?
Are you documenting? What are you doing?
I'm documenting.
Okay, well,
you need to get out. You need to get out.
This is public property.
Yeah, I know, that's a really good one. I'm a communication faculty, and I really get that argument. But you need to go. You need to go.
Yeah.
You need to go.
Well,
disgusting of a human being
needs to
she
go.
was.
She needs to go, and she's gone.
You need to go, yeah. That's how she talked to a student. I mean, he used, by the way, when he was a freshman, he had her as a professor, but she didn't realize that. Because she sees so many students.
Shocking to actually have a university professor fired. That's the shocking development.
It's shocking that it took this long. But after this, there was some footage.
Shocking that it happened.
Well, there was some footage that was released of her getting in the face of a police officer, when he asked her to get off the road because the president of the university was trying to drive his car into his house.
The termination of one left-wing crank, one small step at Missouri, one giant leap for academia.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
You are a sign business, you want to grow, and you want to make more money. So do I. I want to partner with you. This is Dave Carlson, and my sign company is Franco Carlson & Company. We've been doing business in Chicago since 1894. With millions of dollars of state-of-the-art equipment, we can do any job. Trade shows, bus and vehicle wraps, banners for special events, even custom wallpaper. We can help you expand your sign business. If there is an order, any order, or a piece of business that you don't have the capabilities to do yourself, we can do it with you. You don't have to turn away any sign or print business any longer. Speed and quality to meet your deadlines. You have my word on that. Expand your sign business. Take any order. Make more money. Become a partner with Franco Carlson & Company. Contact me for a quote or stop by for a tour of our shop. Franco Carlson & Company. We are the sign company's partner.
Call Franco Carlson & Company at 773-847-6900. 773-847-6900.
Visit Ritz-Carlton Dove Mountain Resort. It's located just 40 miles outside of Tucson. There's endless outdoor activities, tennis, horseback riding, 20 miles of hiking and biking trails that are literally on the property. Everywhere you look, there's beautiful, breathtaking views of the Sonoran Desert. Why? Well, because you're in it. The resort is nestled between 5 mountain ranges. You can stargaze at night. If you're a golfer, it's the best course you can play in Arizona. If you love the spa, well, go to the #1 spa in the state of Arizona, the #3 spa ranked in North America. It's perfect for a family vacation. There's a kids pool with a water slide and a kids club if the parents want to take a break, or go to Ritz-Carlton Dove Mountain for a romantic getaway. The food is excellent. There's direct flights from O'Hare and Midway. You can fly into Phoenix or into Tucson. And guess what? 350 days of sunshine guaranteed every year. Special rates and packages are available right now for your spring break. Visit ritzcarlton.com/Dove Mountain for details. That's ritzcarlton.com/Dove Mountain.
The big Home and Garden Expo that Bob Vila promotes is coming to the Tinley Park Convention Center March 5th and 6th. If you're looking to remodel your kitchen, bathroom, basement, or maybe get a new roof, flooring, windows, or a new deck, then this is the event for you. At this 2-day expo, you'll meet local and national contractors displaying their products and services. Get fresh ideas, set up estimates, and talk directly with contractors, many of which are offering huge discounts. Enhance your landscaping and beautify your yard with Ted's Greenhouse, offering a wide variety of the finest plants in the area. Find everything you need for your home under one roof. Special announcement. Design expert Kelly Edwards of HGTV's Design on a Dime will be presenting both days, Saturday and Sunday, March 5th and 6th, from 12 to 1 p.m. and giving away cash and prizes. Don't miss the big Home and Garden Expo coming March 5th and 6th to the Tinley Park Convention Center. For more information, please visit homeshowevent.com. That's homeshowevent.com.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We'll talk to Brett Baer about that velociraptor that was in the audience at the debate last night and ask who got the most benefit from going after Trump, Rubio or Cruz. That's at 7:07.
Yeah, which senator won. And then an honor student who wasn't so honorable will explain. But first, into the newsroom we go. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, Bernie Sanders rallied in Chicago ahead of an announcement today by Chicago State University. Large wave sweeps the teen into Lake Michigan in Diversey Harbor. The ICC is investigating a notorious Lincoln Park towing company, brothers accused of dealing heroin in Lake County. And in Big Ten hoops, Indiana routs the Fighting Illini. Clouds and sunshine today. WIND Chicago News Time, 7 o'clock.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. After 3 straight wins, Donald Trump had a bullseye on his back last night.
I know you're embarrassed. I know you're embarrassed, but keep fighting. Keep swinging, man. Swing for the fences.
Trump trying to dismiss all the Marco Rubio and Ted Cruz attacks at the Republican debate. Fox's Jared Halpern live in Houston.
So far, nothing has slowed down Donald Trump's momentum, but his top 2 Republican rivals certainly tried it last night's CNN debate.
If he hadn't inherited $200 million, you know where Donald Trump would be right now? Selling watches in Manhattan.
And if it wasn't Senator Marco Rubio targeting Trump, it was Senator Ted Cruz.
Anyone who really cared about illegal immigration wouldn't be hiring illegal immigrants. Anyone who really cared about illegal immigration wouldn't be funding Harry Reid and Nancy Pelosi.
In the latest attack over taxes, both Rubio and Cruz challenging Trump to release his returns. This race is now national. 11 states with delegates up for grabs on Tuesday. Dave.
Jared, all the bickering often left John Kasich and Ben Carson on the sidelines.
Can somebody attack me, please?
Carson also said he'd pick a Supreme Court nominee looking at the fruit salad of their life. A huge sigh of relief amid the horror in Heston, Kansas.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
She didn't know if her husband survived last night's shooting spree until he walked out into her arms at Excel Industries.
A man pulled in and he had stated, we need to get out of here. There's a man that's shooting.
Attacking his co-workers, killing 3 of them until law enforcement killed him. Here's how it started.
A man in a car, believed to be the shooter, shot at another man in a car and hit him in the shoulder. He did shoot at another woman. She was not hurt. Then a few minutes later, a little ways down the road, a second person was shot in the leg. His car was stolen. The shooter took that car, went to Excel Industries.
Kathy Quinn with Fox 4 TV. 14 people were injured in all, 10 critically. We still don't know for sure the motive. A sheriff's deputy was shot after midnight in South Carolina. She is stable. The gunman was later found dead. He'd killed himself. Fox News Radio. Fair and balanced.
Clouds and sun, 28 degrees. Winds north at 7 at 7:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Mayor Emanuel is losing one of his most trusted aides. This morning, senior advisor David Spielvogel says he's leaving the administration next week to launch his own tech company. Spielvogel has served the mayor since he took office in 2011. Traffic moving again on Route 17 near the village of Grant Park, south of Chicago. That road on the Illinois-Indiana border was shut down for nearly a day because of the blizzard-like snowstorm that stranded cars and trucks. More than a foot of snow fell on northwest Indiana. Person of interest is in custody this morning after a cab driver was found shot to death on the north side. Police say Camille Shamji was discovered unresponsive Monday night inside a taxi parked in Lincoln Square. There is a recovery effort underway again today after a 17-year-old boy fell into Lake Michigan. Chicago police say the teen was walking on a concrete pier when a large wave swept him into the water at Diversey Harbor. Divers combed the lake for about an hour until the search was suspended because of dangerous conditions. Democratic presidential candidate Bernie Sanders pushing for votes in Chicago yesterday.
What we should be talking about is making public colleges and universities tuition free.
The Vermont senator hosting a rally last night in front of 6,000 at Chicago State University. Two brothers are accused of dealing heroin in Lake County. Deputies discovered over 70 individual packages of the drug during a traffic stop this week. The two men inside the vehicle, James Valenzuela and Brian Crispin, were targeted after tips of possible drug activity were turned in near their Wakanda home. And authorities are still investigating a deadly hit and run in Norridge. Police released a photo of a dark-colored vehicle seen in the area around the same time as Tomas Radke was killed. The car collided with the Chicago man last Saturday before fleeing the scene. Nashville beat the Blackhawks 3-1. A lousy game, but a big night for the Blackhawks, who reacquire forward Andrew Ladd in a trade with Winnipeg. College hoops, DePaul tipped St. John's, while in the Big Ten it was Indiana rousting Illinois. The news, a service of Compassion International. There's a girl or a boy living in poverty right now, and they don't have enough to eat, or they're sick, or they can't go to school. You can release them from that poverty when you become a sponsor with Compassion International. Find out how at compassion.com/radio. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Sean Hannity sends a warning to whoever wins the GOP nomination.
Whoever wins this is what they are going to do.
This is how they play this game.
This is not beanball for Democrats. Hillary Clinton wants Air Force One. She wants to be called Madam President. There's nothing that she won't say or do.
The Sean Hannity Show, afternoons at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
If you're aged 59 and a half or older with the 401k plan and still working, stop what you're doing and call Arlington Capital Management at 855-471-5796. They'll help you actively manage your 401k, show you strategies to avoid major declines, and capitalize on opportunities. There are benefits with age, and this is one of them. At 59 and a half, you're entitled to new opportunities in the investment world that can dramatically improve your results and even lower your fees. Call 855-471-5796 now and take the first step toward getting more out of your retirement assets. The team at Arlington Capital Management proactively explores the market, our economy, and all of the variables that offset your investments. Call 855-471-5796 now for a complimentary consultation. That's 855-471-5796 or visit arlington-capital.com. You worked hard to accumulate your nest egg. Now, it's time to put your money to work for you.
SquareTrade does not cover lost or stolen items. Savings based on 2-year iPhone plan with one claim compared to Assured total equipment coverage as of August 10, 2015.
Getting a new iPhone? Don't overpay for phone insurance. Save with SquareTrade Phone Protection instead. Phone insurance through your wireless carrier can cost as much as $11 every month, plus up to a $199 deductible when you break your phone. SquareTrade iPhone protection is less than $5 a month. We can save you over $240.
Start saving with SquareTrade now. Visit squaretrade.com. That's squaretrade.com.
Uber is an app that helps you make extra money just for driving your car. And because it's totally flexible, you don't have to quit your day job to make more money, because you can drive and earn whenever you want. There are 3 simple steps to start making money. First, sign up for free on your phone. Second, answer a few questions and get approved. And third, start driving. So, what are you waiting for? Sign up today at drivewithuber.com. That's drivewithuber.com.
7:07 sunrise in Chicago, and in our Chicago RadioDeals.com Traffic Center. Here is Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Mike. For the second time this morning, we have a report of a hit-and-run crash. This one's in Bartlett, westbound Lake Street at 59. Earlier, there was one on the south side of Chicago, reported at 35th and Wentworth. Northwest Indiana State Road 8 still remains closed in Porter County between 231 and State Road 49 after the heavy snow there the last couple of days. Edens, 23 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 20. The Kennedy is now 50 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, slow all the way in. Express lanes will save you 5 or 6. Outbound 24 minutes downtown to O'Hare. The Eisenhower's 50 minutes. Thorndale to downtown, outbound 34. Stevenson, 54 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive. The Ryan, 31 minutes. 95th to downtown. Crash in the Express at 33rd in the left lane. Northbound Tri-State has delays. Plainfield Road at the Hinsdale Oasis from the Reagan Tollway to the Eisenhower. Adams Tollway, slow Barrington to Meacham. Reagan Tollway from Mill to Naperville Road with a crash on the left shoulder. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Aircomfort.com, 80 years of quality mechanical solutions for your business. Here's meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Today, intervals of clouds and sunshine, high 36. Tonight, clear, low 28. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, breezy, and warmer with a high 52. At night, patchy clouds with a low tomorrow night of 41. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer. 27 at O'Hare, 30 along the lakefront. Next news coming up at 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Kelly Financial Services, helping you secure your financial future today. Visit kellyfinancialservicesinc.com.
Good morning. Welcome to your Friday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
The nice part about you have many different plans. You'll have competition. You'll have so many different plans.
But now he's repeating himself.
No, I'm not repeating. No.
I declare, I'm not going to pay for that. Well, he should pay for it. He's got the money.
Yes, this is. We have no more information about this phone. The only way to get information, at least currently, the only way we know, would be to write a piece of software that we view as sort of the software equivalent of cancer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Quite the debate last night. We've got another one coming up March 10th. If last night was any indication, it should be another barn burner, regardless of what happens on Tuesday. And we're having a little watching party, Amy.
Yeah, join us and other AM 560 listeners at Austin's Fuel Room in Libertyville. And you can cheer on your favorite candidate and watch the debate on the big screen, and we'll be there. Tickets are just $25. And, Dan, it includes an all-you-can-eat buffet.
Nice.
Buffet always. Tickets are extremely limited, so order yours today. Go to 560theanswer.com.
Well,
are you going to buy my ticket for me, Dan?
I'm happy to do that.
That's so sweet of you.
Our friend Brett Baer will be back in the saddle for that debate, and I wanted to make sure he knew that we were going to be with our friends in Libertyville, so don't embarrass us, Brett. Brett Baer, Fox News Channel Special Report, 5 p.m., Monday to Friday. Brett, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Sure, happy to be there. So wait a second. You're doing the one March 10th?
Yes,
we're doing it.
Oh, okay. So we have a debate March 3rd in Detroit.
I'm sorry, March 3rd. We're March 10th.
Dan.
You're March 3rd.
Now he's going to be in the tank for the rest of the show because he never gets anything
I knew the next debate was a Fox debate that you were hosting, and I'm trying to promo our stuff, and I'm conflating things.
No, it's all about you. It's all about you.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Brett.
That's all right. But listen, I said the food sounds fantastic.
Yeah, well, after you're done moderating the debate on March 3rd, come out to Libertyville, Austin's in
and
Libertyville.
March 10th.
And I'll buy your ticket, too, since I messed that up.
Fantastic. I'll do it.
So I had an interesting comparison to what we heard last night, and I'll just give you remind people a little taste of what we heard last night. Every time Marco Rubio offered a bit of a stinger.
But you wouldn't know anything about it because you're a lousy
Well, I don't know anything about bankrupting four companies.
No,
You bankrupted.
I don't know anything.
What the heck was a velociraptor, as you suggested, Brett? What the heck was that?
that lady, I don't know what happened. I mean, every time he hit a line, she just went, rah! And it was very disconcerting.
It sounded like nails on a chalkboard to me.
It sounded like the opening of that new show, Angie Tribeca, with Rashida Jones. It was maybe it's the same person. I don't know. But actually, reports were that Rubio had some plants in the audience for his lines to gin up audience reaction. I don't know if that turned out to be true.
Yeah, I think each candidate actually had, I think it was evenly split. I mean, Trump had some cheers in there as well, and the RNC promised that they were going to, equally divide it, because obviously, Trump now uses that as one of his lines. You lobbyists, pack the audience. Each candidate the last time got 100 tickets. I don't know what the breakdown was this time.
Well, which senator do you think did a better job convincing voters that they could best take down Donald Trump?
Listen, I think they both landed, and I think most devastating was the whole Obamacare riff, where, trying to get specifics beyond take the state lines away for insurance, that I think was, a blow to Donald Trump. Now, I think the litany of jabs that Marco Rubio had at the beginning about his businesses, about the fact that he has his ties and hats made in China, and then the retort was that China lowers its currency value, and he said, "Well, why don't you make it in America?" I think that strikes a chord, because here is Donald Trump, around the country saying American companies should not be moving out, and if they do, as president, I would punish them. But his ties and hats are being made in China. So I think he took some blows. That's what I'll say. I think his supporters are extremely loyal, and I'm sure, I didn't check it, but the Drudge Report overnight snap poll probably has him winning overwhelmingly.
Yeah, it does, actually. But the question is, bringing up Trump University, bringing up the fine for hiring illegal Polish immigrants, as you mentioned, even the kind of prosecuting the case against him on Obamacare to show how flimsy he is on the health insurance issue. This is all 5 days before Super Tuesday. Where have these guys been all my life?
Oh, it's ridiculous. I mean, we're on our 10th debate, and this stuff is serious stuff that needs to get digested by, the American public. And, I think that there was this calculation that eventually he was going to implode, and that eventually they didn't have to worry about him, and really they needed to worry about the other guys on the stage. And that was a miscalculation from the beginning, because, Trump has tapped into the anger about Washington overall, anti-establishment, kicked the table over, and he is riding a wave right now. And the going bet is, if something doesn't change, he is going to surf his way into the Republican nomination.
Yeah, I mean, are you worried that on March 3rd, the debate that Fox News Channel is hosting, and you're one of the moderators, are you worried that Trump will be the only candidate on the stage?
No, I'm not worried about that. I'm sure Ben Carson will be there.
Well, speaking of other candidates
I'm just kidding. I don't know.
No,
I don't know who will be there.
That leads us to our next question. When do you think John Kasich, Ben Carson might call it quits? Because John Kasich's camp was not happy with him, because he had an opportunity to attack Trump, and he didn't.
Yeah, no, he didn't. He tried to stay on the high road, as he often does. I do think John Kasich had a couple of moments that, he channeled Chris Christie and talked about why it's important to have a governor who can get things done. One of them being, the Apple iPhone FBI stuff, and that the president should be leading on this, pulling people in a room and locking the door, and not, going back and forth on the front page of the New York Times. I thought that was a good answer, and he had a couple of other good answers. But you're right, he did not engage, and I don't think that that's going to go well for him. And if he doesn't do well at all prior to what he's waiting on in Michigan, it feels a little bit like the Giuliani strategy from 2008, where he was waiting for Florida to make his win, and momentum just killed him.
Now, I don't know if the debate lineup is set for the March 3rd debate you're hosting, but I got a suggestion. Do you have another podium for Lindsey Graham I think it may spice things up. He said yesterday that Trump is a nut job and a loser as a person and ill-suited to be president, right before he said that, yeah, he'll support him if he's the nominee. So maybe Lindsey Graham on stage again with some of his homespun colloquialisms and shots at Trump could take the place of John Kasich's kinder, gentler approach to debating.
I doubt we need more people with hurling rhetorical grenades. There would be plenty of that. I do think that there could be a few more specifics in there, and we're going to try for that in the next debate.
Now, on the Democratic side, Hillary Clinton, I mean, is it a done deal? Do you think we're looking at a Trump-Clinton presidential run?
I mean, if I had to put money on it today, I would, but I think there are things that can happen. I think Hillary Clinton, in the electoral picture for her primary run, looks in good position, but I do think that the FBI thing is not over. I don't think that this investigation is just going to go away, and that the career people inside the FBI and DOJ won't be able to look at this and say, this is okay, let's turn the other way. So if anything happens, even if the FBI recommends an indictment, we're eventually going to hear about that, and that'll have impact on the trail, because Democrats don't want to lose either.
And Camille Paglia, writing in Salon.com, she's a Sanders supporter. I mean, she's just vicious, as only Camille Paglia can be. I mean, in an entertaining, provocative way. She writes, a vote for Bernie Sanders is a vote against the machine, the obscenely money-mad and soulless juggernaut that the Democratic Party has become. You have, we spend a lot of time obsessing about the discontent among certain portions of the Republican Party with the rise of Trump. Well, man, there's a lot of grassroots discontent with the Democrat establishment, the Democrat Beltway elites, and Hillary Clinton by extension.
Definitely. I mean, there is a split, and it's more pronounced in some states than others. I think Hillary Clinton's strength in the African-American community is real, and it is its own firewall. But in certain states, Bernie Sanders is going to do well. He's tied with her in Massachusetts. He's obviously leading in Vermont, his home state, but he's playing well in Minnesota and a few other states, and he's going to try to pick and choose and get some delegates along the way, and I think, hold out to see what happens, the fallback position. He's clearly not going to roll over her in a lot of these big states.
All right, he's Bret Baier, the host, of course, of Special Report on Fox News Channel, 5 p.m. Monday through Friday, and also one of the moderators, along with Megyn Kelly, the March 3rd. March 3rd.
There you go.
2 days after Super Tuesday, Fox News Channel Republican debate. Brett, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Okay, have a good one.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Listen to podcasts of Dan and Amy from the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Beautiful start to your warm weekend. We're going to have some clouds by the afternoon, but no big deal. A high of 36 degrees. Saturday, mostly sunny, breezy, a high of 51. And on Sunday, get this, set your tee times if you're a golfer, because we're going to have a high of 61 degrees. Sun starting the morning, but increasing clouds with a shower in spots. But again, that's pretty warm for this time of the year. Let's get the travel times. Here is Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy. The Edens inbound has delays from Peterson to the junction. 23 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose. Outbound's 20. Kennedy, 50 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. 20 for Montrose. 13 on the Express. Outbound, just a 5-minute delay between Montrose and Sayre. Inbound Eisenhower, now 59 minutes. Thorndale to downtown. 46 from Manheim. Outbound 34 to Thorndale. Stevenson, an hour and 7 minutes. 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. 57 minutes from the Tri-State. Outbound, it's fine. Ryan is 31 minutes, 95th to downtown. Lakeshore Drive, a little heavy now on the southbound side. Belmont to Fullerton. Northbound Tri-State slow, Plainfield Road to 47th. Ogden to 31st. And from the Reagan Toy to North Avenue. Adams Solway slow, Barrington Road to 53. Veterans Memorial northbound is a crash on the entrance ramp from Butterfield. Prepare to slow down there. I'm Jim Talamonte, ChicagoRadioDeals.com Traffic Center.
If you've wanted to send your kids to a private school but always thought you couldn't afford it, let me tell you about halfpriceschools.com. At halfpriceschools.com, you can find dozens of local private schools that are offering vouchers for a full year of tuition at, you guessed it, half the price. There's no catch. Find a school near you, purchase the tuition voucher, and prepare to send your child off to school this fall. It is that simple. HalfPriceSchools.com has schools located all across the Chicagoland area, including South Holland, Chicago, Arlington Heights, Hoffman Estates. Now, this might make private schools a real option for your family for the first time, but trust me, do not wait. Many of these vouchers, and they actually always do sell out. So visit HalfPriceSchools.com today. That's HalfPriceSchools.com.
Did you know color is vital to your health? I'm talking about the color of the food you eat. A colorful diet is a part of staying well because many nutrients are color. Eating a wide variety of fruits and vegetables provides your body with the diverse chemistry it needs to heal itself and stay well. Now ask yourself, how many servings of fruits and vegetables did I eat today? Balance of Nature has solved this problem and provides an easy and affordable way to consume over 10 servings of 31 different whole fruits and vegetables every day. My name is Dr. Howard. I've recommended Balance of Nature for over 15 years because of the excellent results I see in my patients.
Good health is just a phone call away. What are you waiting for? Call now and take the health challenge to get a free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
Hey, if you're a car enthusiast who appreciates the joy of driving a high-end performance car or never lost your passion for classic or modern muscle cars, you need to know about this Feed the Children business benefactor. With decades of experience, Comet Motorsports provides car lovers with the highest quality service and performance products available. And Comet can save you money on quality service for your pride and joy. Hey, if you own a late-model European performance or domestic muscle car, Comet can install performance tuning software to reprogram your car's computer to increase performance without sacrificing drivability. Comet is a complete tuning facility. Man, Comet even installs parts furnished by customers. If you have minor dents and dings, including hail damage, Comet can perform expert paintless dent repair to avoid bodywork and painting. Call Comet Motorsports in St. Charles at 630-584-5400 or visit CometMotorsports.com. That's Comet with a K.
Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues now. And make sure to stay tuned to catch me, Mike Gallagher, coming up at 9, only on AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, this is a story that has a political connection, Amy, because I think this is one of those stories that helps explain the rise of Trump as well. That the culture that people believe is uniquely American is being undermined by those in charge of our civic institutions like our schools.
There's only one.
There is only one radio station. It's this one. This story comes to us from San Francisco.
Okay, go.
San Francisco.
It's making me sick.
San Francisco schools, Pelosi land to supply middle schoolers with condoms. San Francisco Unified School District School Board has unanimously, of course, approved a decision to distribute condoms to middle school students. The policy change comes after survey results show some young students are sexually active.
Oh, gross. And I say gross because I have two boys that are middle schoolers right now. Middle schoolers, just if you need a visual, are anywhere between 5th to 8th graders.
Yeah.
5th graders are 10 years old. Some are 9. 5th graders. Okay.
Now, see, I never lost my innocence. I was taught in grade school that girls are yucky, and I still think so. But that's
Don't
not.
look at me.
That's not the posture of San Francisco school board members. The district's director of safety and wellness, oh man, is that Orwellian, says 5% of the public middle schoolers surveyed are sexually active. Of those, 3% are using condoms.
I mean, this got to be 8th graders only.
Tremendous. Right? The superintendent's changes also recommend eliminating the exemption option for parents. So
what is it? So we don't have a say whether or not little Peyton and Eli come home with condoms in their backpack?
That's correct, because your children are not your own. We live in Plato's Republic. They belong to society. And your opinion is interesting as a parent.
Oh, thank you.
But it's not dispositive. That's what we have elected school board members or appointed school board members and these educrats to do, is to replace the parental judgment for their judgment.
But this is promoting and telling kids it's okay to be sexually active because we have an app for that. No, actually, we have a condom for that.
Well, the good news is parents will be notified.
Oh, that's nice.
About the program.
Oh, via email or maybe a note in the bag that I never find because we never find those notes in the bag until they're too late.
Now, Peyton and Eli, they're still at the young, innocent age where they'll take those condoms and like make water balloons with them and throw them at each other.
Exactly, or put them on tailpipes of cars and wait for people to start their engines. I mean, I don't know. I've just heard that this had happened.
Well, that's what I still do.
Hearsay on my part.
Yeah. So, I mean, I just want San Francisco, great schoolers. 5% are sexually active, only 3% using condoms. You got to get 100% of the sexually active and maybe encourage more to be sexually active. That's the ultimate upshot of this. Parents, the superintendent recommending eliminating the exemption option for parents. Parents have no say, but they will be notified. How's that sit with you, brave new worlders? 312-44...
You know what? Stop giving out your home phone number.
I want
you just gave out.
I almost did. I almost gave out my cell number. You can call me on my cell.
Shall we shag now or shall we shag later?
312-446-6488. You can call me on my cell. Text me. Or you can call and text the show, 642-5600, whichever you prefer. I've got speakerphone. We got to have. We don't have enough phone lines here.
Don't encourage people to call your cell phone because trust me, they'll call and they call in the middle of the night and they call at all. It's crazy time.
I got nothing but time and I'm lonely. I want to talk to people, particularly our listeners.
Because you don't even have a plant in your condo.
Do you think our callers will call?
Do they like us? Please call.
I gave her my number. I hope she calls. Jason in Franklin Park.
You know what? I called this line before I got your cell phone, but I'll jot it down for next time.
All right. Thank you, Jason.
Here's the thing, is that too many parents put their head in the sand and don't talk to their kids about sex. Giving condoms to the kids is not going to encourage them to have sex. That's a myth. But this way, that kids that can't talk to their parents and are sexually active, they have some sort of a means of having safe sex. This whole idea of, we just won't talk to our kids about sex, so therefore we won't have sex, obviously that's not happening due to the fact that even in wealthy neighborhoods, there's still unwed teenage pregnancies that are going on.
Jason, a question for you. Where do babies come from? Call me on my cell after the show. Thanks.
One unused prophylactic. One soiled.
There's only one radio show in Chicago talking about today's biggest stories and telling you what they really mean. That show is this one, Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Hey, sorry I'm late. I'm the chair for the company picnic committee, and I'm overwhelmed with finding the perfect catering partner.
Don't be freaked out by that. Tasty Catering has done our company picnic every year for the last 5 years. I actually went to Tasty Catering's kitchen first to taste the food. They serve juicy burgers right from the grill, fresh salads, awesome sides, and fun foods for the kids. Last year, we even had delicious brisket and an entire pig roast.
Can they handle all the details? There's not much time to plan.
Planning was even easier. Tasty Catering handled every detail, from serving pieces to inflatables for the kids, the DJ, and of course, the bar area.
That's exactly what we're looking for.
Just go to tastycatering.com. The pricing was right, and our CFO signed off on the contract immediately.
The best company picnics start at tastycatering.com. View picnic menus and locations, entertainment options, and more. That's tastycatering.com.
Coming up on Chicago's... here. Gosh, I'm
Coming
sorry.
up is we're going to escape to Cabo.
Exactly.
Perhaps before 8 o'clock.
My mind is already there. Excuse me. I apologize for my bad behavior today. Today, if you want to book your trip to Los Cabos, Mexico, you should do it. You know why? Because time is running out, and this is going to be the best trip we've ever taken on this morning show. Why? Because it's the Secrets Los Cabos Golf and Spa Resort. It's a wonderful golf course. It's surrounded by mountainous views, and it's also, you're right near the ocean. Secrets Puerto Los Cabos is an adults only, all-inclusive, all-suites resort. There's 3 miles of pristine beaches if you want to walk along the beach with Dan Prof. Late-night sushi, too, as well. There's 8 different restaurants, 4 bars, a cigar bar if you're interested as well. So go.
Used to call me on my cell phone. Late night when you need my
That's what you're going to do. You're going to call Dan, and he's going to meet you at the beach. Just call him. Again, did I mention 2 9-hole golf courses? All right, get your trip. Book it today. Come on, come with us. We are heading there April 2nd through April 9th. Our trip is presented by Dermatology and Plastic Surgery Associates and by Artistic Dentistry. Visit 560theanswer.com, keyword escape. 560theanswer.com, keyword escape.
Coming up at 7:37, we're going to call Byron York and have him on the show. He is the political correspondent for the Washington Examiner. Talk a little bit more about the debate and the implications for Super Tuesday.
And sometimes it happens. An honor student who wasn't so honorable. Wait until you hear this story. But first, into the newsroom we go. Here is an honest man, Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, good morning. Good morning, everyone. We're focusing on Donald Trump this morning. You've been talking about the Donald with Dan and Amy this morning, and he says he expected the all-out assault last night from Senators Marco Rubio and Ted Cruz at the GOP debate in Texas. Hundreds of delegates are up for grab next week in the Super Tuesday primaries. Trump getting criticism last night for a neutral position between Israel and its Palestinian neighbors. In that CNN debate, Florida Senator Marco Rubio said Trump has taken an anti-Israel position.
There is nobody on this stage that has done more for Israel than I have. Nobody. You might say, you might talk, your politicians all talk, no action. I've been watching it all my life.
Trump went on to call Rubio a choke artist. Texas Senator Ted Cruz, who called Trump a liar, compared the real estate mogul to Hillary Clinton in his neutral stance on the issue. One of Mexico's former presidents is not mincing words when it comes to Donald Trump's plan to build a wall.
I declare, I'm not going to pay for that wall. He should pay for it. He's got the money.
That came in an interview with Fusion. Vicente Fox also chastised Hispanics who voted for Trump in the Nevada Republican caucuses, calling them followers of a false prophet. Investigators continue their efforts to piece together the puzzle of a gunman who stormed the factory where he worked, killing 3 and wounding 14 others before being shot by a police officer and killed. Officials in Heston, Kansas, say the shooter, armed with a weapon, drove through the south-central Kansas town, taking shots at people before attacking the factory where he worked. Police say the suspect in the shooting and wounding of a South Carolina sheriff's deputy has been found dead of an apparently self-inflicted gunshot wound. Police say 3 people asleep in the home where the suspect had been barricaded did get out safely. The U.S. has launched an unarmed Minuteman III missile from Vandenberg Air Force Base in California. The test was the second this month. Mayor Emanuel losing one of his most trusted aides. Senior advisor David Spielvogel says he's leaving the administration next month to start a tech company. And a person of interest is now in custody after a cab driver was found shot to death on Chicago's north side this week. Police say Camille Shamji was found unresponsive in a taxi parked in Lincoln Square. Nashville beat the Blackhawks last night 3-1, but that lousy ending came after the Blackhawks made it a pretty good night, reacquiring forward Andrew Ladd in a trade with Winnipeg. College baskets, DePaul over St. John's. In the Big Ten, Indiana beat Illinois 74-47. The news service of InvisibleFence.com. Protect your pets with Invisible Fence brand. Keep them in the yard, away from the fireplace, and off the furniture. Invisible Fence brand has the answer to training your pets at InvisibleFence.com. Invisible Fence brand can install in any weather, rain or snow. Visit InvisibleFence.com. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager gives an overview of the shift in American politics.
There is really no symmetry. There's no mirror image here. To a large extent, the Republicans have essentially the view of the world that John F. Kennedy had, who was a liberal Democrat. And now a man who was a lifelong socialist may get the nomination, or at least is extremely popular among Democrats.
The Dennis Prager Show. Weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Listen to AM 560 on your mobile device. Now available on iHeartRadio. Online at iHeartRadio.com.
If you run a business, whether you're in plumbing, HVAC, or construction, you know that commercial vans aren't one size fits all. Some vans are too small.
We're gonna have to make 2 trips.
Others too big.
Watch the top! Watch the top!
You need a van that's just right. That's where the Mercedes-Benz Metris comes in. It's the only available mid-size commercial van with unmatched safety features, a 2,500 2-pound payload, and enough cargo space to hold over 60 sheets of 4x8 drywall. It's big enough for the job, yet it's small enough to fit in your garage. It has a service interval of up to 15,000 miles and the highest residual value in its class, according to ALG. We won't give you a one-size-fits-all van. We'll do you one better, a commercial van that's sized just right for you. The 2016 midsize Metris. Mercedes-Benz. Vans born to run.
$7:37 in our Chicago RadioDeals.com traffic center. Getting you to work on time, here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike, for trying. The travel time is getting higher. The Kennedy is now an hour from O'Hare to downtown. The express lanes will save about 8 or 9 minutes. Outbound, it's just a 5-minute delay Montrose to Sayre. Eden's 23 minutes Lake Cook to Montrose. Outbound 22. The Eisenhower is an hour from Thorndale to downtown and outbound 32 minutes. Stevenson, an hour and 11 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. It's clear outbound. The Ryan, 31 minutes, 95th to downtown. Northbound Tri-State heavy, Plainfield Road to 31st, and from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. Adams Tollway sluggish from Barrington Road to 53. Reagan Tollway has a delay from the Aurora Toll to Naperville Road. The crash on the left shoulder. Veterans Memorial is pretty light. Traffic is a service of InvisibleFence.com. Protect your pets with Invisible Fence brand. Keep them in the yard, away from the fireplace, and off the furniture. The Invisible Fence brand has the answer to training your pets at InvisibleFence.com. Invisible Fence brand can install in any weather, rain or snow. Visit InvisibleFence.com. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the AirComfort.com Weather Center. 80 years of quality mechanical solutions for your business. Clouds and sunshine, high 36. Patchy clouds overnight, 29. 28 at O'Hare, 30 along the lakefront, and 27 in Aurora. Your next news update is at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by In the Know with Wealth Management Group, hosted by Craig Bolanos. Heard Sunday mornings at 10.
If you're talking about it, I'll be talking about it. Dennis Prager here. Join me this morning at 11, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy were splicing in some of the highlights from last night's debate. The zingers were flying. Here's one from Marco Rubio about Donald Trump's lot in life had he not inherited $200 million.
Here's the guy that buys a house for $179,000. He sells it to a lobbyist who's probably here for $380,000, and then legislation is passed. You tell me about this guy. This is what we're going to have. Here's the guy that inherited $200 million. If he hadn't inherited $200 million, you know where Donald Trump would be right now? Selling watches in Manhattan. I lost.
And then you heard the Velociraptors, the Rubio Velociraptors in the audience screeching at that. But if Trump hadn't inherited $200 million, he would be selling watches in Manhattan. But
he'd be the best watch salesman there ever was.
He'd be winning. That's correct.
Thank you.
All right. Now joining us for more on the debate and what, if any, impact it will have on the 12 states or 11 states and one territory in play on Tuesday is Byron York, chief political correspondent for the Washington Examiner. Byron, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Good morning, folks. Good to be here.
Well, what was your overall impression of the entertainment value and political impact of the debate?
Well, I think the second part, the political impact, is the more important part. And I always watch these things trying to figure how they are going to affect the voters. And I have to say I'm completely mystified by this one. There's no doubt that Rubio took down Trump, especially on the health care issue. And there's no doubt that everybody is now seeing it this morning in the light of what they wanted to see before. You know, Rubio's fans are talking about what an incredible triumph it is. Trump's fans are saying he didn't lay a glove on him. And I have long ago realized that my own personal reactions don't always mirror the voters. So this is a long way of saying I'm not sure exactly how it affects this race. Obviously, it's Friday morning. The voting is on Tuesday for Super Tuesday. That's not long. So I'm just not sure what effect this is going to have on some of these key races.
Well, and the other thing, too, some of the issues that were brought up and some of the points that were scored, talking about it from a pundit's perspective, against Trump on Trump University or the illegal Polish immigrants or, as you said, Cruz and Rubio on Trump's plans for health insurance and his position on Obamacare. Where is the money behind that messaging on television and mailboxes? Where has that been on the campaign trail? The idea of having a 5-minute exchange with Trump in a debate and thinking that's enough to move serious numbers is folly, isn't it?
Well, it's pretty much. I think you're right. It's pretty much new. Obviously, all of these issues, Trump using illegal immigrant workers or Trump University, all of these things have been out there for a long time. They've been written about. A lot of them were written about in 2011 when Trump was making noise about running for president in 2012. So there's recent stuff on them, and his opponents, for whatever reason, have really decided not to use it. So your question is, from a standing start, can that get a lot of momentum by Tuesday? I don't know. Obviously, Marco Rubio is looking toward March 15th, the primary in his home state of Florida, also in Ohio and Illinois, and so he has more time, to make it an issue there. But you also have to wonder, is this going to be a big deal for voters? Remember when Trump said what he did about George W. Bush, saying at the South Carolina debate, which is the Saturday before the Tuesday primary. It wasn't. There was primaries on Saturday, so it was a few days.
Tuesday before the Saturday, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and when a lot of people said, "Well, this will sink him in South Carolina," and it did not. So I just think you have to be really cautious.
Yeah, I thought the McCain comments were going to sink him. And I know I did. So
10 months ago, yeah,
I did.
right.
Yeah. Whether or not he's a hero and, my heroes don't get captured, which I thought was crazy. So last night, Trump's dismissive counters, Rubio's a choke artist, Ted Cruz is a basket case and a liar. Does that leave him looking like a strong man swatting away the sorts of politicians that have turned his supporters furious in the first place?
Well, I thought he was very ineffective in his responses, and I think he did have responses to make, and he didn't do it. Rubio has been an absolute genius at the art of misdirection away from what Rubio has done on immigration. There was a question to Rubio about immigration, and he immediately turned it into attacking Trump. And a good debater is supposed to turn that back on the attacker and go after what Rubio actually did. Trump didn't do any of that. Is it because he hasn't done his homework, or he wasn't thinking fast enough on his feet? I don't know. The Polish immigrant thing, Rubio kept saying, Google Donald Trump and Polish workers. That was from a long time ago, and Trump built a really big building. It's kind of a landmark in New York. And, you look at Marco Rubio and say, have you seen Trump Tower? It's big. It's a landmark in New York. I built it. What have you done?
The moment.
Trump doesn't, and he didn't do any of this. So he had opportunities to hit back.
Although he did have a moment.
He didn't take him.
He did have a moment with Rubio, though, where it was the whole, you hired. I'm the only one who hired anybody on this stage, and that's kind of the point,
Yes. And so the question is then, we're talking about it, but what do voters see there? Do they see something that's kind of a wash? They see, Rubio's going after Trump about something, but Trump looked down at him and said, I'm big and you're small. We'll call it even. I just don't. Or do they say, maybe Trump really is a con artist, like Rubio is saying. I'm sorry to be so indecisive here, but we'll know more Tuesday night.
One of the things I thought was missing, you can score points on these issues. It wasn't really strung together, but both Rubio and Cruz, I thought, failed to make an appeal to kind of the psychology that is out in the primary electorate right now, asking people to consider where they will land before they jump, kind of for comparing what we have with the populism of Trump to the populism of Obama. Something like, President Obama has demanded to get what he wants when he wants it, regardless of the rule of law. And isn't Trump saying the same thing? So do we want to replace the rule of Obama with the rule of law or the rule of Trump? Trying to foment some second thought out there rather than just saying Trump's a hypocrite on this or he's flipped his position on that.
Well, I think you're right. I think what you're basically saying is that for last night, Rubio and Cruz abandoned any talk of vision. You know, they're what they want to do, what they want to build, what they want to be as president. You can just forget it. That's not what last night was about, because this was desperation time for Rubio and Cruz. Look at these polls. Super Tuesday is a couple of days away. Cruz stands to be wiped out if he doesn't win in Texas. Rubio, if he doesn't win somewhere, is going to look like a real loser just waiting to March 15th in hopes of winning his own state.
Right.
So
he's down substantially right now.
This was back against the wall time. So the vision stuff went out the window. That can be brought back later. This was time to try to bring down Trump.
Who do you see Donald Trump choosing as a running mate if he had to make the decision today?
Absolutely not. Yeah, Trump has like all candidates. Trump has avoided that completely. But he was asked this the other day at Regent University. Didn't say anything about it. I'm still amazed enough at the whole Trump phenomenon that I haven't got to the VP part yet.
Still processing it, huh?
We're all processing.
I hear you. I hear you, brother. I'm having the same problem. I wake up thinking this is a bad dream.
Part of the problem, don't you have to look at some of these campaigns, too, and say, the Ted Cruz campaign, the Marco Rubio campaign, some political malpractice there. That a narrative wasn't built, that you're just waking up after he's won 3 elections in a row and saying, oh, boy, Trump is a real threat to this thing, and I've got to throw the kitchen sink at him in one debate after the previous 9 debates I didn't.
Good. That's an excellent point. The whole malpractice thing is an excellent point. Why are they just doing this now when their back's against the wall? But I think they had a theory of the race. The theory of the race was blown up by this giant meteor that came out of space and hit them in the form of Donald Trump. And it took them a long time to change their plan. Maybe that's malpractice. Maybe it's just a kind of a human inability to adjust quickly to new surroundings. But whatever the case, they're clearly on the offensive right now.
All right, Byron, you're chief political correspondent for the Washington Examiner, WashingtonExaminer.com. Byron, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you, folks.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper. Hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
We have some great text messages. Trump took a bunch of money and made a ton. The others took a ton of our money and made nothing. That's why Trump wins. Forecast for today, plenty of sunshine. It is a winter in the weather department, that's for sure. A high of 36 degrees, but that's not the good news. The good news is this weekend, it's going to be unseasonably warm. Saturday, mostly sunny, breezy, a high of 51. And on Sunday, we're going to break the 60-degree mark, a high of 61 with some sun in the morning, then increasing clouds and shower in spots by the afternoon. Anything amazing on the roadways? Here's Jim Telemonte.
Well, in most places around Chicago, it's fairly routine, Amy. You have a kind of a nasty thing reported here in Michigan City, a crash, eastbound 94 at 421. Part of a piece of metal going into a vehicle's windshield, so we'll keep an eye on that. We don't have any reports of delays or closures because of that. The inbound Kennedy is now an hour and 5 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. Outbound just 25 minutes. Eden's 23 minutes. Lake Hook to Montrose, outbound 22. The Eisenhower, an hour and 12 minutes. Thorndale to the post office, outbound it's 32 minutes. Stevenson, an hour and 13 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound clear. Ryan, 31 minutes. 95th to downtown. Delays on the eastbound Reagan Tollway from the Aurora Toll Plaza to Naperville Road, where there's a crash on the left shoulder. The other tollways are lighter than normal. I'm Jim Talamonte, ChicagoRadioDeals.com Traffic Center.
Saddle up and experience a taste of the Southwest. You can do so at the Ritz-Carlton Dove Mountain Resort, just located outside of Tucson, Arizona. There are endless outdoor activities, endless sunshine, 350 days of sunshine a year. You can go horseback riding, of course. Play tennis. There's 20 miles of hiking and biking trails that are on the property. They have a great gym. Everywhere you look, there's beautiful, breathtaking views of the Sonoran Desert because it's surrounded by 5 mountain ranges. If you're a golfer, tee it up at one of the best courses you can play in Arizona, according to Golf Digest. There's also a wonderful spa, rated #1 spa in all of Arizona. It's perfect for a family vacation. There's a water slide for the kids and a kids club, or you can go there for a romantic getaway because there's adult-only pools as well. The food is excellent, award-winning chefs there at one of the 3 restaurants, and there are direct flights from O'Hare and Midway. You can fly into Phoenix or into Tucson. Special rates and packages are available right now for your spring break, so go to ritzcarlton.com/Dove Mountain for details. That's ritzcarlton.com/Dove Mountain.
Your company uses interior lighting 12 hours a day, 5 or more days a week. That's up to 40% of your energy costs. Now imagine huge immediate savings with worry-free replacement lights that fit in your current fluorescent fixtures. LED tube lighting with a 10-year warranty and up to 20-year useful life. Cost-conscious companies are converting now to cutting-edge revolutionary LED lighting. From factories and retail to office and residential, discover the benefits of quality manufactured LED lighting from Chicago's premier LED fluorescent replacement provider, Lights LLC. They're retrofit so there's no fixtures to replace. Made of safe, unbreakable plastic, they won't flicker and eliminate ballast buzz. Your employees will love them. To learn more, contact Lights LLC right now for a free lighting ROI analysis. Call Scott Moninger at 630-778-5002 or visit litesllc.com, 630-778-5002 or lightsllc.com. Lights is a proud Feed the Children business benefactor.
I'm Dan Proft with an Upstream idea brought to you by the Illinois Policy Institute. 27. Illinois state employees, on average, receive total compensation 27% higher than their private sector counterparts. State employees made nearly $4,000 more in wages and $13,000 in benefits than private sector employees. More than half of state workers will retire before the age of 60 with a guaranteed state pension. The state is in a financial death spiral with ground impact imminent. So keep this in mind as Governor Bruce Rauner breaks off contract talks with AFSCME, the state's largest public sector union. AFSCME has been unwilling to give on its demands for annual step increases of 3.8%, in addition to annual general wage increases. The lowball estimate of the cost of what AFSCME demands is $1.6 billion. That's $1.6 billion more from Illinois families who already pay the highest property taxes in the nation. This is Governor Rauner's moment of truth. He ran for office saying he is not a politician. He said he is a businessman who will make the difficult decisions to turn around the state he loves. We're about to find out if that's true. For more Upstream ideas, visit upstream-ideas.com. I'm Dan Proft.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, part of what happens in a totalitarian culture is you lose your sense of humor. A comedy festival, not particularly funny, charged white men more in order to fight the quote-unquote wage gap, which of course is fictional. The upcoming comedy festival in New York City, an upcoming festival in New York City, is charging different rates for attendees to check the privilege of straight white men. The Cinderblock Comedy Festival, September 15th to the 18th, in the hipster stronghold of Williamsburg, Brooklyn, will charge $19.25 for women, non-whites, and those who identify as LGBT.
Wait.
So I
how much money?
$19.25. Straight white men, on the other hand, will only be allowed to apply for tickets starting on March 15th, and they'll have to pay $25 to do so.
You cannot discriminate against a certain group, whether they're African American
We're talking
or
about
white
straight
males.
No, straight white. There's no. Not a protected class.
That's a reverse discrimination, isn't it?
No, it's straight white men. They're checking privilege. So this is the whole 77% of what men earn. Women make 7, but LGBT includes men. But non-whites are men.
So is this a gender issue or a race issue or a transgender issue? My head's spinning.
Well, this is what happens when you get beset by identity politics. You can't make sense of what's up and what's down and what's your line of propaganda and how your lines of propaganda are mutually exclusive and in conflict with one another because you don't know what the hell you're talking about. So you start with one false premise and you pile on a few more false premises, and all of a sudden the false premises start attacking one another.
So is this in the age of political correctness? We're just trying to get noticed? Because I suggested all you straight white males out there, stay home, spend your money elsewhere.
This is in the age of abject ignorance. Abject ignorance of economics, abject ignorance of culture, abject ignorance of America, just general ignorance. And it ain't funny.
Men, we don't know what we did.
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer. And now, a moment of objectivism with your Ron Brook and the Ayn Rand Institute.
Ask almost anybody about Social Security and Medicare, and they'll tell you, I own my Social Security benefits. I own my Medicare. But the truth is, you haven't earned your Social Security check. These programs don't save or invest what you put in. The government taxes you when you were young and doles out your hard-earned money to pay for retirement and medical expenses of the old today. When you retire, your benefits will be taken from the working youth. Social Security and Medicare are giant welfare programs that force retired Americans and the working young to participate. It adds insult to injury to call them earned benefits. You can't earn a right to have others support you. From the Ayn Rand Institute, I'm Ron Brook.
This has been a moment of objectivism from the Ayn Rand Institute. To learn more, listen to the Yaron Brooks Show, Saturdays at 4 on AM 560, and visit ariradio.com.
Why are Ayn Rand's ideas so compelling? Her worldview, her philosophy, expressed dramatically in her novels Atlas Shrugged and The Fountainhead, embodies the ideals stated by the Founding Fathers in the Declaration of Independence and sets forth the requirements necessary to achieve a flourishing life. She called her philosophy objectivism and said it was a philosophy for living on Earth. Today, decades after her death, objectivism continues to stir debate and inspire passion for the spirit of individualism and the enduring American dream.
My name is David Hochberg, and I'm Vice President of Lending at Pearl Mortgage. That's right, I'm now Vice President of Lending at Pearl Mortgage. If you're looking to purchase a new home or refinance your existing home, give me a call. I'm the same guy that's provided listeners with honest advice and outstanding customer service for the past 13 years. The only thing that's changed is where I work. When you wanted to do an FHA Streamline refinance to lower your interest rate and payment, you called me and I helped you. When you wanted to refinance your 11% loan, you called me and I helped you. When you wanted to use your retirement assets to do an asset depletion loan, you called me and I helped you. If you'd like to talk to me about a mortgage, please call me at 312-751-1333. 312-751-1333. Email me at david@pearldavid.com. That's david@PERLDavid.com. Or visit my website, am560david.com. Pearl Mortgage is an equal housing lender, Illinois residential mortgage licensee, 4358, licensed by DBO under California RMLA NMLS 19186. PearlMortgage.com licensing.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
FBI Director Comey on the Hill talking about the Apple encryption case. We'll have former federal prosecutor Andy McCarthy at 8:08 to discuss it.
But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, Bernie Sanders rallies the faithful here in Chicago. Large wave sweeps a teen off a pier into Lake Michigan. Brothers accused of dealing deadly heroin in Lake County. And Dexter Fowler returns to the Cubs. Clouds and sunshine today. Complete look at weather after Fox News. WIND Chicago News Time is 8.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. It was a night to dump on Trump.
Now he's repeating himself.
No, I'm not repeating. No. I watched him repeat himself 5 times 4 weeks ago. And
I saw you repeat yourself 5 times 5 seconds ago.
Marco Rubio and Ted Cruz both attacked and got attacked back at the CNN Republican debate in Houston, where Fox's Jared Halpern is live.
After former Republican nominee Mitt Romney challenged Donald Trump to release tax returns, hitting it a possible bombshell, the frontrunner's top 2 rivals did the same at the CNN debate.
He doesn't want to do it because presumably there's something in there that is bad.
Senator Ted Cruz promising his own tax return release this week. Trump counters he would, but for the past 12 years, his company has been audited.
And obviously, if I'm being audited, I'm not going to release a return. As soon as the audit is done, I love it.
Trump also facing criticism over past political donations and a settlement for hiring illegal workers. Dave.
Jared, all this before Super Tuesday next week. Did a restraining order set him off?
He was a nice guy when I worked with him on second shift.
That nice guy killed 3 of his co-workers in Heston, Kansas.
We just took off running, and everybody was coming outside, and as soon as we got outside, there was gunshots.
It was a series of shootings that started before he got to his workplace in a stolen car.
The shooter took that car, went to Excel Industries into the parking lot, and shot the next victim there in that parking lot. Then he went inside to Excel Industries and then started firing. He had an assault rifle. They said he had a pistol as well. He was shot as well by a police officer, the first one on the scene.
He's now dead. Kathy Quinn with Fox 4 TV in Heston says 14 were injured, 10 critically. In South Carolina, the gunman who shot a sheriff's deputy after midnight's been found dead. He killed himself. She's in stable condition. The economy wasn't quite as slow last quarter as first thought. GDP growth has been revised higher to 1 full % from the initial 0.7 estimate. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Clouds and sun, 27 degrees. 8:02 is our time on AM 560, The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Mayor Emanuel losing one of his most trusted aides. This morning, senior advisor David Spielvogel says he is leaving the administration next week to start a tech company. Person of interest is in custody after a cab driver was found shot to death on the north side. Police say Camille Shamji was discovered Monday unresponsive in a taxi parked in Lincoln Square. As of last night, no charges have been filed. A recovery effort continues this morning after a 17-year-old boy was swept into Lake Michigan. Chicago police say the teen was walking on a concrete pier when a large wave swept him into the water at Diversey Harbor. Divers combed the lake for about 1 hour until the search was suspended. Democratic presidential candidate Bernie Sanders pushing for votes here in Chicago leading up to the March 15 primary.
What we should be talking about is making public colleges and universities tuition free.
The Vermont Center rallying 6,000 at Chicago State University. The process is underway now to find a replacement for 4th Ward Chicago Alderman Will Burns. City Council member announced he would be resigning March 1st to take a job at Airbnb. Residents of the ward will be able to apply for the vacancy through March 4th. A committee of local leaders will help determine the finalists. Then Mayor Emanuel will choose an interim alderman. 2 brothers are accused of dealing heroin in Lake County. Authorities say the deputies discovered over 70 individual packages of the drug during a traffic stop Tuesday that nabbed James Valenzuela and Brian Crispin. Nashville beat the Blackhawks 3-1 last night after it was announced the Blackhawks had reacquired forward Andrew Ladd in a trade with Winnipeg. 8:03 is our time. It's time for the AM 560 Business Beat, a service of turnkey.pro. And from the Fox Business Network, here's Lillian Wu.
From the Fox Business Network, stocks on Wall Street set to follow world markets higher. Those markets rising after China's central bank governor pledged not to devalue the yuan for the sake of export competitiveness. Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg speaking out on hate speech in Germany, saying it has no place on the social media site and that more needs to be done to monitor and remove it. German officials have expressed concerns about groups using Facebook to spread hate messages. Hilton planning to spin off its timeshare business and most of its real estate business to try and boost shareholder value. Hilton Grand Vacations will become a separate, publicly traded company that's expected to manage almost 50 club resorts in the U.S. and Europe. And Japan's latest census confirms its population is shrinking, falling 1 million to 127.1 million last fall from 2010. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Lillian Wu.
8:04 in Chicago, and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
You don't win by accident.
It's the Dave Ramsey Show.
So this is your year to win. You don't get out of debt. You don't save your marriage by accident. You don't increase the quality of your marriage by accident. You don't raise great kids accidentally. These are intentional acts that you make choices on the variables in your environment and you form and control your life.
Make the most of your money and get out of debt. He's Dave Ramsey, tonight at 7 on AM 560. The Answer.
Donnelly Auctions in Union, Illinois needs your guns. Get top dollar for your antique and modern firearms and military souvenirs by consigning them to Donnelly Auctions. Donnelly Auctions are federally licensed firearms dealers, and if you're unable to come to them, they will be happy to come to you and pick them up. Their next gun auction is this Saturday, February 27th. For more information, call 815-923-7000 or go to DonnellyAuctions.com. Donnelly Auctions in Union, Illinois.
SquareTrade does not cover lost or stolen items. Savings based on 2-year iPhone plan with one claim compared to Assure total equipment coverages of August 10, 2015.
Getting a new iPhone? Don't overpay for phone insurance. Save with SquareTrade Phone Protection instead. Phone insurance through your wireless carrier can cost as much as $11 every month, plus up to a $199 deductible when you break your phone. SquareTrade iPhone protection is less than $5 a month. we can save you over $240.
Start saving with Square Trade now. Visit squaretrade.com. That's squaretrade.com.
Uber is an app that helps you make extra money just for driving your car. And because it's totally flexible, you don't have to quit your day job to make more money, because you can drive and earn whenever you want. There are 3 simple steps to start making money. First, sign up for free on your phone. Second, answer a few questions and get approved. And third, start driving. So, what are you waiting for? Sign up today at drivewithuber.com. That's drivewithuber.com.
8:07 in our ChicagoRadioDeals.com traffic center, the very latest with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. The outbound Kennedy is now jammed from before Montrose to past Lawrence, where a crash and car fire has everything blocked. No one's getting through right now. IDOT is at the scene. Inbound was already heavy with delays from Harlem to the Burn Circle. It's about an hour and 10 minutes O'Hare to downtown. Eden's 23 minutes either way between Lake Cook and Montrose, the Eisenhower. An hour and 20 minutes Thorndale to the Loop. An hour and 7 minutes from Manheim. Outbound 32 minutes to Thorndale. Stevenson, an hour and 11 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound it's fine. The Ryan, 31 minutes, 95 to downtown. Lakeshore Drive. Southbound Slow Lawrence to Fullerton. Northbound Balboa to Jackson. Northbound Tri-State Heavy, Plainfield Road to the Hinsdale Oasis. And from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. Reagan Tollway all bottled up from the Aurora Toll to Naperville Road with a crash on the left shoulder. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the aircomfort.com Weather Center, 80 years of quality mechanical solutions for your business. Here's our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Clouds and sun today with a high 36, then a clear night low 28. Mostly sunny and breezy tomorrow with a high 52. Patchy clouds at night low 41. Sun followed by clouds with a shower in spots Sunday, high 61. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
28 at O'Hare, 30 along the lakefront, 27 in Aurora. Your next news update at 8:30. And Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Financial Planning with Jack Tabota, your 401k specialist, whose goal is to protect, preserve, and grow your wealth. Saturday mornings at 7.
Good morning. Welcome to your Friday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
The nice part about you have many different plans. You'll have competition. You'll have so many different plans.
But now he's repeating himself.
No, I'm not repeating. No.
I declare, I'm not going to pay for that. Well, he should pay for it. He's got the money.
Yes, this is. We have no more information about this phone. The only way to get information, at least currently, the only way we know, would be to write a piece of software that we view as sort of the software equivalent of cancer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So you just heard at the top there Tim Cook, part of the interview he gave to David Muir of ABC News. Tim Cook, CEO of Apple, of course, on this matter of Apple appealing a federal district judge's order.
I call him an enemy combatant.
Okay. Federal district judge's order to create software to break into the phone of one of the San Bernardino terrorists. Cook went on to respond to the accusation that this is a branding opportunity for Apple, and that's essentially why they're resisting the big government that left-wingers like Tim Cook normally enjoy and support.
We saw it in the FBI filing. The criticism that you're doing this because of a marketing strategy or your business model here at Apple.
There is no truth behind that, and it is deeply offensive to us. We are doing this to protect people and to protect their civil liberties. It is that simple.
Yeah, if Tim Cook was such a committed friend of civil liberties, maybe he shouldn't be such a left-wing hack. And the same goes for the chieftains at Facebook and Google, who are also rallying to the defense of Apple. Jim Comey was on the Hill testifying on the matter and suggested that we may be entering a new chapter in law enforcement if Apple is not compelled to assist with the with breaking the encryption on the terrorist phone in question.
This world some people imagine where nobody can look at your stuff is a world that will have public safety costs. Now, we may decide, okay, it's worth it, but we shouldn't go there without people understanding.
Well, he raises a fair point, but there's a flip side to that as well. Comey, before the House Intelligence Committee, also said, the San Bernardino litigation is not about us trying to send a message or establish some precedent. It really isn't. But in terms of whether it will establish such a precedent, I'm not somebody really qualified to offer you a good answer to that question. I don't know how lawyers and judges will think about what is the limiting principle on the legal side. I just don't know. And another data point in this vein, Manhattan prosecutor Cy Vance has said he has a backlog of 175 locked iPhones awaiting the resolution of the Apple FBI fight, which is almost certain to be decided in federal court, maybe all the way to Supreme Court. But the point is there are other cases, so the precedential value of how the courts rule in this case is relevant, it seems to me. But why don't we get the opinion of someone who is more steeped in this area than we are, and he is Andy McCarthy, former federal prosecutor, Southern District of New York, and contributor National Review Online. Andy, thanks so much for joining us again. Appreciate it.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
So you've heard the arguments from Tim Cook, and you've heard the arguments from Jim Comey and from one federal district court judge. Distill them for us. Where do you come down?
Well, I think the unfortunate thing about this, and you got to this a second ago, is that it's not a case that arises in a vacuum. First of all, there are these other cases that you allude to, so it's not like they can just, decide what to do with this one, kind of make an exception and move on. But this controversy also comes up in a context, and the context is that the government has been pushing to try to get a backdoor into encryption technology, which is what I think underneath it all, that's what this whole debate is about. I think if the encryption issue were not there, I don't see any reason why there aren't 10 different ways that you could figure out how Apple could get the government the information that they need without having to give up any trade secrets. But, the government has made no secret of the fact that they would like to see either encryption stopped or encryption only go forward insofar as the government is essentially a business partner of outfits like Apple and has a key to break it. And I must say that that is a pretty revolutionary argument by the government. When I was a prosecutor, and forget about when I was a prosecutor, going back to the beginning of eavesdropping technology, we didn't stop phone service until the government could figure out how to tap it. They had to work that out on their own. And as technology gets better, it's always been the job of law enforcement to figure out a way to intrude on it when there was probable cause to do that. The idea that technology shouldn't advance any faster than the government can harness it is, I think, not only a revolutionary idea, I think it's a bad idea. It's a bad idea in terms of national security because encryption is actually very important to protecting the secrets not only of the government but also of industry. It's what keeps America and the American economy the most peerless one in the world. So I think that's very important. And if you create a backdoor for the government to get into that, not only are you going to chase people to, other vendors in other countries who don't have those kinds of restrictions, the fact is you can't create a vulnerability that government can exploit without making it available to bad actors to exploit, like the Chinese hackers and the Russian hackers and what have you. So this is a pretty complicated situation.
But do you agree somewhat with the FBI and how some Americans feel that there might be vital information on that cell phone, on Saeed Farouk's cell phone? Because I believe that they must have had help from someone somewhere, and we can get those names and numbers on that cell phone.
Yeah, and I think that if it was just this case, I can think of 10 different ways that the FBI could get this information without having to give up Apple's trade secrets. In fact, if all they want is the information for intelligence purposes, they could tell Apple, you break into it and give us what you find without having to share with us how you broke into it. That way the FBI gets what they want and Apple gets to keep their trade secrets and everybody's happy. But I think, the government is trying to preserve the possibility that if there is anything on that phone, they're able to use that fact in a future prosecution, which would mean they would have to be able to prove how they got the information in the first place. So they're probably not content with that because they have an eye on the possibility of a future prosecution. And Apple, for its part, has to be worried about the fact that the ultimate prize here that the government's been pushing them for is encryption. So they can't make their moves without factoring that in. I'd also point out that, I read the government's papers, and they complain that Apple has cooperated with them on some 60 or 70 other occasions. Now, Apple responds to that by saying that was a different operating system than the one that we're now talking about. But to me, the greater point is, if you're the government, you want to get cooperation from people, the absolute way not to get it is to use against them in court the fact that they've cooperated on other occasions. And now here they are asking them to cooperate again. And if I'm Apple, I'm saying, well, why should I help you if when I volunteer to help you, you use it against me in the next court case?
Well, also, Cook made the point when he was talking to David Muir, look, we have we have cooperated in this case in terms of turning over what we have. But this is an important distinction. What the government is now telling us we have to do is create something that doesn't exist in order to help access the information they want to access.
I must say, of all the arguments Apple makes, I think that's the least persuasive one, because what they're being asked to make, companies make things all the time to comply with subpoenas. If I subpoenaed you for, the 17 transactions that you've had with X vendor over the last 3 years, you don't have that information at the ready. So what you do is you write a bit of search code and you scrub your records that way, and then you create a document that doesn't exist so that you can comply with the subpoena, right? So, the other thing is, if you take Apple's position seriously, if I'm the prosecutor, I say, okay, here's a subpoena, come in and testify, and then I will make you answer my questions about how you do it. So you don't want to create the code? Fine. You can come in and testify and describe to me how to do it, and we'll do it right there in front of the grand jury. So,
if it's as easy as all that, then why is the Department of Justice allocating $38 million from their budget to develop encryption-breaking technology?
Well, because we're talking about two different things, right? So what they're talking about right now is breaking the PIN, because if they don't have they can run every possible PIN against the phone, but the technology in the phone is if you run it 10 times and you don't get the right one, it'll erase everything. So that's the PIN that we're talking about. The government should be working on technology to break encryption, because this is the way the game has always worked. Technology advances, people figure out how to use technology in crime, and it's incumbent on the government to figure out ways to break that technology. That's since there's been letters tucked into pouches and driven by pony, it's been that way.
One of the other arguments that's advanced by the proponents of the FBI, the government position is, well, look, the government owns this phone in question because he was a government employee. So why doesn't the government have the right to just demand that the phone they own be broken open?
Well, that's a really good point. The phone did not belong to the terrorist; it belonged to the government, the municipal corporation that he worked for, and they're in favor of giving of allowing the phone to be searched. The real question there is, since they own the phone, why didn't they just change the password and voluntarily give the FBI everything? Because, as you know, when you or I forget our password, right, we do that little program and they change the password, and then you can get back access into your system. So a question here that I think really needs to be answered is, Why didn't that happen?
All right, he's Andy McCarthy, former federal prosecutor. You can catch his musings. He's got, actually, we don't have time for it, but he's got a great piece on Gitmo on National Review Online, nationalreview.com. Andy McCarthy, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Dan, Amy, have a great weekend.
You too. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Great forecast for today. It's going to be sunny right now with some high clouds, a high of 36 degrees. Then Saturday looks spectacular, mostly sunny, breezy, a high of 51. And on Sunday, the heat and humidity really kicks in. Yes, for February, it's spectacular. Sunshine, then increasing clouds, showers in spots, but it will be a high of 61 degrees. Travel times, here's Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy. We have some good news on the outbound Kennedy. A crash past Lawrence just cleared. It had everything blocked. We still have delays from Addison to Lawrence, but it's not too bad. 30 minutes downtown to O'Hare. Inbound still heavy. An hour and 5 minutes O'Hare to downtown. 41 minutes from Montrose, 31 on the Express. Eden's inbound, 23 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose. Outbound now fine at 19. The Eisenhower, an hour and 24 minutes. Thorndale to the post office. An hour 10 from Manheim. Outbound, just a 3-minute delay. Austin to Des Plaines Avenue. Stevenson, an hour and 11 minutes. 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. The Ryan, 31 minutes. 95th to downtown. Tollways are lightening up. Still heavy on the Reagan Tollway eastbound Farnsworth to Naperville Road. There was an earlier crash. Northwest Indiana looks great. I'm Jim Talamonte. ChicagoRadioDeals.com Traffic Center.
Do something for yourself and treat yourself to a MyPillow. There are many of you who have procrastinated, but don't put it off any longer. MyPillow is a premium pillow with 4 different loft levels that's customized to your individual preference. And for my listeners who use the promo code Amy, guess what? 2 pillows for the price of 1. It's MyPillow's best offer because it's really so important to get a great night's sleep. No more tossing and turning because the pillow conforms to your neck and back to help you get support where you need it most. If you have snoring problems, headaches, neck pain, insomnia, allergies, get a MyPillow. Plus, it's washable, so that's good. And it's also the official pillow of the National Sleep Foundation. Have I sold you on it yet? For this 2 for the price of 1 offer, simply visit MyPillow.com, type Amy in the promo code, or go to 800-489-0201. A 60-day full money-back guarantee if you're not satisfied. That's 800-489-0201.
I feel great. I've always felt pretty good, but once I started taking them in September, I couldn't have felt any better. Everybody in my household's been sick through the holidays. We've had bad snowstorms here, and I feel great.
This is a wonderful thing. I'm really getting a lot of benefits from it. I'm 70 years old. I'm going to be 71 in April, and I just feel generally much better. I would also say there have been all kinds of colds and flu around me, and I haven't caught any of them. I have arthritis, and that has not been as much as it used to be by a long shot. So it's touched me in many areas.
Good health is just a phone call away. What are you waiting for? Call now and take the health challenge to get a free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
The stock market seems like it's in turmoil. 2016 has already proven to be a roller coaster ride. Is there another big correction on the horizon? Are you prepared? Or are you at the mercy of stockbrokers if it does happen? Let Online Trading Academy teach you how to navigate the stock market during these changing times. They offer professional trading and investing education for every skill level. They'll teach you a rules-based strategy, trading on knowledge, not speculations, so you can identify market changes before they happen. Online Trading Academy has a state-of-the-art educational facility centrally located in Lombard. Call today, 888-601-TRADE. That's 888-601-8723 to attend a free half-day course. Call now and mention you heard this message on AM 560 The Answer, and they'll send you home with a free home video study course valued at $247 just for attending. This is a great opportunity to learn from the pros. Reservations are limited, so call now, 888-601-8723 or online at freeotaclass.com.
AM 560 The Answer.
Dan and Amy getting all kinds of responses to the Apple versus FBI showdown. Any mobile phone import-export store on Devon Avenue can break into an iPhone 5. They do it all the time for trading used phones overseas. Somebody else emailed that why don't we just enlist our new friends, the Chinese, to hack into the phone.
Texted me, get a 5th or 6th grader because they could probably do it.
There you go. Keith in Winfield, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer. Hey, Keith.
Hello?
Hey, Keith.
Yeah, hi. Yeah, I was just wondering, why don't they just get a search warrant, just like as if you were a criminal and you did something wrong? I mean, the government would get a search warrant to search your house. Why can't they just search this guy's telephone?
Not that simple.
Well, they can't. I mean, again,
they can't get into it.
Right, they can't get into it. That's the problem. Thanks for the call,
Problem
Keith.
is they have 4, it's a 4 passcode, the 4 digits, and if they start running more than 10, then the phone's just going to shut down and lock them out.
John McAfee, like McAfee, the security products, right? He says, FBI forcing Apple to create iPhone backdoor is the end of America. It's a strong statement. Here's another strong statement, I'm sure. Sean from Elmwood Park.
Shawnee boy, what you got?
Well, I'll tell you what. I mean, am I in the twilight zone? You have a presidential candidate that gets the biggest cheer of the evening by saying he will lock a private company in a room and not let them out until they comply. I mean, have we lost all of our intellectual honesty here? This is a company that makes a product. They cannot be told to do anything against their will by a government at the tip of a spear. We are used to be free. McAfee is right. He's not articulating it properly, but he is absolutely right. Why isn't anyone talking about the visa program? Why isn't anyone talking about the CIA? You mean to tell me at the CIA you don't have a hacker? I saw this movie. It was with the guy from Thor. He comes out, he breaks into the phone, he writes code, and he chases a bunch of terrorists around.
That was not a documentary.
You can't do anything like that. You have to intimidate a private company. I'm sorry, but we have rights. We are free. That government works for Apple, not the other way around. And another thing, before I forget, let's address Jim Thorpe, Donald Trump. He was such a great athlete. Remember, you heard him last night? I was a great athlete. Then explain the 5 deferments for bone spurs, Jim Thorpe. You want to touch that one? So let's have some honesty here.
Yeah.
Thanks for the call, Sean. Jim Thorpe.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM 560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Winter weather is here, and this season's roller coaster ride and temperatures can be especially taxing on your business's mechanical HVAC system. That's why it's important to schedule a comprehensive review of your system today with Air Comfort, Chicagoland's leading mechanical professionals. For more than 80 years, Air Comfort has maintained hundreds of businesses' HVAC systems throughout Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana. Why do they trust their mechanical systems to Air Comfort? It's simple. Because they understand that Air Comfort has the best trained and highly skilled team of award-winning technicians. That's why Air Comfort is recognized as an MSCA Star Contractor, a designation achieved by only 2% of contractors nationwide. With a large service fleet of more than 80 fully equipped vehicles, chances are that an Air Comfort technician is nearby. Schedule your system check by calling now, 708-345-1900, or online at aircomfort.com.
A great night out awaits you, courtesy of ChicagoRadioDeals.com. Take advantage of a deal for a sumptuous dinner at the award-winning Buckingham Steakhouse. Enjoy an evening surrounded by luxurious decor, attentive service, all while dining on the finest in prime steaks and seafood. You can buy a $100 gift certificate for only $60. Hey, are you tired of visiting the usual burger joints? Well, give your taste buds a thrill at Prime Burger House. Be blown away with the decadence of their handcrafted creations like the Surf and Turf Burger, which combines their butchered on-site prime beef patty with a lobster tail perched on top. A $50 gift certificate, only $30 at CRD. There are even awesome deals for the Indulge Show Kitchen Seafood Buffet and the regular buffet. Now, these family-friendly restaurants are located in the Pavilion at Grand Victoria in Elgin. See details at ChicagoRadioDeals.com and the restaurant listings, and check in every week for dinner and entertainment deals only at ChicagoRadioDeals.com. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We'll take your calls. Anyone change their mind after watching last night's debate? And I'll have a plea to Trump supporters on behalf of Ted Cruz that Ted Cruz should have made last night. That's at 8:38.
But first, into the newsroom we go. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, sparks flying this morning as you've been talking with our listeners about in the Republican presidential race during that CNN debate in Houston last night. The frontrunner, Donald Trump, repeatedly attacked by rivals Marco Rubio and Ted Cruz. And he fired back. Trump was getting it from both sides in the debate last night.
They came at him with everything tonight. They threw the kitchen sink. The idea was you've got to stop Trump now before Super Tuesday.
Analyst Dr. Sean Barry, Trump called Rubio a choke artist in response and Ted Cruz a liar, and says, yes, he will release those tax statements in due time.
I will absolutely give my return, but I'm being audited now for 2 or 3 years, so I can't do it until the audit is finished, obviously, and I think people would understand that.
Trump also tore into Cruz, saying he can't get along with anyone in the Senate. Police are investigating the motives of a gunman who killed 3 and wounded over a dozen at a Kansas factory where he worked. Worker in that same factory, Jared Trujillo, recalls the chaos that started when the gunfire began.
People were getting pushed, trampled. It was just, everyone was just trying to get out of the shooting, where he was shooting at.
Authorities in Heston, Kansas say 38-year-old Cedric Ford went on a nearly half-hour-long shooting spree, driving through 2 cities as he fired out the window of his vehicle with a pistol and then a rifle. Sheriff says the first police officer on the scene is a hero, entering that facility, exchanging fire with the gunman, then killing him. Mayor Emanuel losing one of his most trusted aides. A senior advisor, David Spielvogel, says he's leaving the administration next week to start a tech company. And Illinois has received more than $1 million from fines levied against drivers who were tardy in renewing their license plate stickers after the state stopped mailing reminders during the budget impasse. Figures provided to the Associated Press by the Secretary of State's office show the amount collected in $20 late fees doubled in the first 2 months of this year compared to the same period last year. Chicago sports. Nashville beat the Blackhawks 3-1 on a night when the Hawks reacquired forward Andrew Ladd in a trade with Winnipeg. DePaul nipped St. John's in Big East play in the Big Ten. Indiana dropped Illinois 74-47. The news service of Compassion International. 1 billion children around the world live in extreme poverty. You can change or even save the life of one when you become a sponsor with Compassion International. Find out how you can help at compassion.com/radio. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Even after a win in Nevada, Mike Gallagher isn't ready to call Trump the nominee.
The establishment, make no mistake, these guys do not like Donald Trump. They do not like Ted Cruz. But these guys are saying it looks like it's going to be Trump. You're not going to be able to stop Trump. And I have to confess, I don't see that right now. And I wonder if that's not a bit of a game that they're playing. Because there's a lot of gamesmanship, let's face it.
The Mike Gallagher Show, weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Remodel your kitchen or bath with Galaxy and get free installation, free design, and free financing. Call Galaxy at 773-783-8300 or schedule online at galaxyhome.com.
Ah, yes, the good old 9 to 5. Good stuff, huh? You can almost feel the life force getting sucked right out of you. You've always wanted to be your own boss and take control of your financial future. It's about time you contacted the franchise professional who can guide you to success. Franchising guru Meg Schmitz is your key. She's been a franchise insider for over 25 years and has started and run top-tier businesses of all kinds. She can match you with the franchise opportunity that fits your goals the best. Why would you leave that choice up to the internet? Safe to say that Mr. and Mrs. Google probably won't get to know you the way Meg will. Make an educated decision about buying a gold standard franchise that fits you like a glove. Call Meg Schmitz for your free guide to business ownership at 847-302-2601 or visit goldstandardfranchise.com for more information. Take control of your financial future and be your own franchise boss now. 847-302-2601 or goldstandardfranchise.com.
Hi, I'm Lex Howard, CEO of Balance of Nature. I occasionally take new customer calls, and often people tell me that they have been hearing our advertisements for years. What are you waiting for? Start now and begin experiencing the benefits of Balance of Nature in your life.
I'm going to tell you right now, and this is crazy. I just went to the dentist, and I had a tooth cleaning, and she's like amazed. She goes, your teeth are great. She goes, I don't even need to be doing this work. And, and health-wise, heart-wise, stamina-wise, it's unbelievable. I just adore your products. I wish I could talk to everybody individually, give them my phone number and say, if you don't believe me, call me up. I'll tell you. It's the best thing you ever did in your life.
Good health is just a phone call away. What are you waiting for? Call now and take the health challenge to get a free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code Chicago.
8:36 in our ChicagoRadioDeals.com traffic center. The latest with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. The inbound Kennedy has delays from Nagel to the Burn Circle. It's 56 minutes O'Hare to downtown, 33 from Montrose, 31 on the Express, outbound 30 minutes downtown to the airport. Eden's 23 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound fine at 19. The Eisenhowers, an hour and 24 minutes slog from Thorndale to downtown, an hour 10 from Manheim, outbound 34 minutes to Thorndale. Stevenson, an hour and 11 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound it's clear. The Ryan, 31 minutes, 95th to downtown. Lakeshore Drive, southbound heavy Montrose to Fullerton, northbound Balboa to Jackson. North on Tri-State a bit tight, Plainfield Road to the Hinsdale Oasis, and slow from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. Eastbound Adams Tollway slow, Roselle to Meacham, Reagan Tollway from Farnsworth to 59. Veterans Memorial good, no problems to report on I-80 or in Northwest Indiana. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center, aircomfort.com. 80 years of quality mechanical solutions for your business. Intervals of clouds and sunshine throughout the day. High 36. We'll have patchy clouds and a low of 29 overnight, 28 at O'Hare, 30 along the lakefront. Your next news update is at 9, and Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Turnkey IT, giving you the freedom to focus on your business while they handle the technical stuff. Turnkey IT.
Hey, don't be caught without the facts. Listen to me, Sean Hannity, this afternoon at 2, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, so did anything that happened last night, including some issues that were raised by Rubio and Cruz that maybe you hadn't heard before, even though they've been out there, like Trump University and illegal Polish immigrants Trump hired and had to pay a fine over, and did any of those things that were raised, any of the exchanges between Trump and Rubio, Trump and Cruz, Ben Carson, John Kasich, I don't know, anything change your mind? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 646-36DA, turnkey.pro text line. I mean, we've got March 1st is Super Tuesday, 11 states, 1 territory, American Samoa, but then just 2 weeks after that is our primary, so this is the time where minds start changing or not.
Yeah, and Marco Rubio really stepped up to the plate. It was this, as if it was his coming out party yesterday, because he really, I thought he owned the stage. He was a different person. He brought a breath of fresh air into his campaign. When he attacked, I was really, because, you know, I'm biased towards Marco Rubio.
I think
he's my guy.
That's coming across.
Right, but he nailed him on every single subject.
But you wouldn't know anything about it because you're a lousy
Well, I don't know
businessman.
anything about bankrupting 4
All right.
companies.
No,
You
I
bankrupted
know.
4
You know what?
companies.
You know what?
I don't know anything about
You know what?
starting a
That's
university.
one at a
That was
time.
a fake university.
First of all, one at
a
a
fake
time.
university.
That's called.
There are people
Let
that
me just
borrowed
tell you, that's-
$36,000
hold on. One at
to
a time,
go to
Mr.
Trump
Trump.
University, and they're suing him now. $36,000
And
to
by
go
the
to
way,
a university.
and by the way,
That's a fake school.
And by the way,
and you know what they got? They got to take a
I've won
picture with
most
a
of the
cardboard
lawsuit.
cutout of Donald Trump.
And by the way,
that's what they
I've
got for
won
the
most of the
$36,000.
I want to move on. They actually did a very good job, but I've won most of the lawsuit.
That was really illuminating. There was another moment. Probably.
Right, what was your favorite moment?
Well, Rubio's best moment, just to stick with your guy, Rubio's best moment, I thought, was the exchange between he and Trump on Obamacare.
The nice part about you'll have many different plans. You'll have competition. You'll have so many different plans.
But now he's repeating himself.
No, I'm not repeating. No.
Okay, I can only take so much of that screaming.
That's what all of last night was. I mean, the 10th debate for them, it was a ruckus. Just sometimes you couldn't understand what they were doing. And that woman who kept screaming for Marco Rubio, apparently, what did Brett Baer call her?
Or Velociraptor, like from Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
It reminded me either like the beginning of CSI Miami, or the beginning of that new show, Angie Tribeca, with Rashida Jones, which is actually hilarious. It's like a police squad show on TBS. It's really funny. But in addition, I also want to get Ben Carson had a good moment, I thought. Not when he said, please attack me so he could respond, but when he actually had a chance to respond to an issue. And it was in this context of everybody's tax returns, Rubio and Cruz's, the last 2 years, they're coming out today. Trump is being audited by the IRS, so his tax returns are pending that, so he said. But Ben Carson reminded us of something that he should remind us more of, frankly. What happened to him after he dressed down Barack Obama at the National Prayer Breakfast, which really brought him into national renown within conservative circles.
We have a system of taxation in this country that is horribly wrong. You know, I never had an audit until I spoke at the National Prayer Breakfast. And then all of a sudden, they came in, they said, we just want to look at your real estate dealings. And then they didn't find anything, so they said, let's look at the whole year. And they didn't find anything, so they said, let's look at the next year and the next year. And they didn't find anything, and they won't find anything because I'm a very honest person. But the fact of the matter is the IRS is not honest, and we need to get rid of them.
Wow, he even got the scream from that Rubio plant for that.
Yeah, pretty close.
That's
Different
close.
key of, yeah.
Could be the same person. Maybe it was a member of a hair band.
Maybe.
That's a Rubio supporter. I don't know.
No, but don't you think Marco Rubio really, I mean, we saw a different side
he
of
was
Marco Rubio last night, and he was doing what Jeb Bush could never do, and that is stand up to Donald Trump. The problem, though, I wish he would have done it sooner.
He also, I thought, he still, because Marco Rubio, he just seems like he's younger. He's so small compared to Trump, just the physical presence. And he seemed like a teenager. He did say, that's the way I saw it.
Really?
Where I think Cruz and his exchanges with Trump, including on health insurance, I think Cruz prosecuted the case like an adult, and some of the back and forth with Rubio and Trump seemed a bit juvenile. Now, Trump is always going to be juvenile, but I think Rubio comes across as a bit of an earnest kid trying to sit at the adult table.
Like this one?
The nice part about you'll have many different plans. You'll have competition. You'll have so many different plans.
But now he's repeating himself.
No, I'm not repeating. No.
And Dana Bash, of course, is trying to interject, and they're not listening to her.
Okay, so here's my plea to Trump supporters. Here's one of the things I thought Rubio and Cruz missed an opportunity to do, which is to make a plea for reconsideration, because the idea of just gathering up all the undecideds or waiting for the field to winnow, and that's your path to start winning states and piling up delegates, I don't see it. So I think you have to make an appeal. We have one of our Trump supporters, one of our dogged Trump supporters, 708, said he's a little bit less enthused about Trump after last night's debate.
After watching last night's debate, he's looking at other candidates. He's candidate-less right now.
But I think you have to make a plea. So here's my plea. I kind of penned this before the debate last night, in the hopes
before the debate.
Yeah, in the hopes that Ted Cruz would pick this up and run with it. But
did you send it to him?
He didn't. No, I thought he followed me on Facebook.
Telepathically. Yeah.
All right. So here's what I wrote. Yeah. So. I'm playing the role of Ted Cruz, but I'm not going to.
Thank you for letting me know that.
But
folks.
I'm not going to do like a Texas accent.
All right, here's Senator Ted Cruz.
I have a plea for Trump supporters to consider. I respect the anger and frustration you have with the political elites in both parties. I've demonstrated as much during my time in the Senate. You'll note when I called out Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell for lying to me, that didn't win me too many friends. You'll note that when I prepared to shut down the federal government, which is D.C. speak for the temporary paid furlough of less than 20% of the federal workforce, when I prepared to do that over Obamacare, that didn't win me too many friends. You note that I took a principled stand against the federal government being in the business of picking winners and losers in the energy sector in advance of the Iowa caucus. That didn't win me the friendship of the popular Republican governor of Iowa who said, vote for anyone but Cruz. So I've brought my Texas swagger to the United States Senate and to this campaign, and I'm ready to bring it to the presidency to help you get your swagger back. When Donald Trump says we don't win anymore, he's right, not like we should. In fact, we don't even try to win for American families who have played by the rules only to be scammed by a government they finance. But how we get to where we want to go and who we select to lead the way will make all of the difference. I understand the entertaining, un-PC, no-nonsense appeal of Donald Trump, but it's not enough. We don't have to rationalize away our conservative values, the way we conduct ourselves, or the way we treat each other to win again. Please consider where you will land before you jump. For 7 years, President Obama demanded he gets what he wants when he wants it, regardless of the rule of law. His wants may be different, but isn't Donald Trump saying the same thing? Are we going to replace the rule of Obama with the rule of law or the rule of Trump? For 7 years, President Obama issued edicts, not presented ideas. Those of us who opposed him were ridiculed and marginalized and targeted by the IRS and the Department of Justice. Are we going to replace the edicts and abuses of power with the rule of law or the edicts and inevitable abuses of power of Trump? For 7 years, President Obama channeled the disillusionment of Americans to destructive ends that limited our freedoms and undermined our culture. Are we going to replace Obama's cynical politics of exploiting those who have been hurt with Trump's cynical politics of exploiting those who are angry? Or are we going to funnel the energy into reclaiming our country, reestablishing the governing principles upon which it was founded, and defending our core cultural values? I ask you to reflect on these questions and consider the implications of your answers. For if we don't, 4 years from now, winning will replace hope and change as tragic punchline fodder for bumper stickers. Now, how about that?
And you did it all in one breath.
How about that?
I wasn't sending puppy pictures or anything while you were talking.
I was going to go over the time limit, but they all do anyway, so why not?
No, that was impressive.
Kurt in Park Ridge, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
You know, I love Ted Cruz, and except for hearing Kasich mention his father being a postman again, that was some of the most entertaining TV I've seen in a long time. I mean, it was just awesome. I was laughing and just screaming at the TV sometimes. It was just great. I mean, I don't know if anyone else enjoyed it like I did, but it was just great TV.
You know what? It had a slow start, but
Thanks
then, I thought I was watching, an edition of the WWE, the SmackDown, because there was a lot of screaming. I mean, it was crazy. Got a little out of control at times.
Not enough submission holds, though.
Oh, yes.
Tony in Downers Grove.
Yeah, Dan, well, I'm disappointed. I like Cruz, but both with Cruz and Rubio, like you said, where the hell has this been? Because I don't think Trump will beat Hillary Clinton because he's void of substance. And they pointed out, why weren't they asking these questions for 2 months ago, for crying out loud? And now we're going to get stuck with this. We're going to get stuck with Trump, and it's going to be interesting. But I just wish Rubio and Cruz would have been more direct like they were last night.
Thanks.
They're calling them on its substance, and they weren't.
Thanks for the call.
Then,
I'm sorry, Tony. I didn't mean to cut you off. Thanks for the call. Appreciate it. Dolly in Lombard.
Yeah, I don't know what you were reading, if that was something you wrote or something Ted wrote, but I was bored out of my mind listening to that because it sounds like the same old stuff that these people say, these politicians say all the time. Rubio is one of these politicians that says one thing to get elected, and when he's in there, he does something else. I don't believe a word that comes out of his mouth. He's an establishment guy. He's a Jeb Bush guy. Ben Carson, great guy, but he's too weak. Kasich is too weak. So Ted Cruz, nobody wants to work with him because apparently he's a mean person. So we're stuck with Trump.
So Dolly, Dolly, let me ask you a question because that was one of the lines Ted Cruz or Donald Trump has offered up a couple times about Ted Cruz. So all these politicians that you don't trust, but Ted Cruz is to be pilloried because he doesn't have their endorsements. Why do their endorsements matter?
Actually, I prefer Cruz over anyone because he's the most conservative, and I'm a conservative.
Okay.
But I don't want somebody in there that's going to be fighting with people. Okay? I want somebody in there.
Dolly, you don't think we have a fight on our hands? You don't think
the time to fight on our hands? We've had a president in there for 8 years that
right.
Even fight. The only people that have benefited under Obama have been terrorists, Muslim terrorists.
So Dolly, let's work the logic on this. You don't think the next president, whoever that person is going to have a fight on their hands, even with a Republican Congress that you just described as not trusting?
Of course they will, Dan.
So then what are we talking? So then when you say I don't want somebody who's going to fight, I don't want to fight. What does that mean?
That's not what I don't mean fight. I mean argue, bicker. Like I have to be right, kind of like what we have right now. Someone who thinks they're a king and not a president who's supposed. Even Bill Clinton was able to compromise with people and sit down and talk to people. Okay, we need somebody like that in there. I actually prefer Ted Cruz to all of the candidates because I feel like he's the most. He respects the Constitution. He's the most conservative out of all of them. But he's not doing well in these debates.
Thanks for the call. Thanks for the call, Dolly. Appreciate it. Sorry I bored you. Bob, on the South Side, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, man, how you doing? Yeah, I just want to talk about real quick, this Rubio, man. I could not stand him last night. He just looked like a little kid just kept shouting every time, Trump wanted to say something. I don't think it really helped him. And, I don't know why we're not talking about Kasich a little bit more. I mean, I think he's the most electable candidate of the Republican candidates. He's most level-headed. What do you think?
Well, he didn't get involved in the fight, and he didn't attack Donald Trump, and he just kind of sat there and was just happy to be there.
I don't think he has to attack, but I'm not sure I understand what Kasich's value proposition is other than he's the most electable. That's not good enough for me.
He gives great hugs, Dan.
He does do that. Lee and Hammond.
Yeah, hi. I think the whole idea of Donald Trump being a serious candidate just goes to show how low the denominator's gotten to the people that come out to the polls.
Yeah.
These people, it's a sad comment. We almost deserve what we're getting because it seems like over the last 100 years, the idea of electing a president's gotten turned into a game show, and it's just sad. I don't know what to say about you got good candidates up there that have good ideas, and they're not getting attraction because everybody loves Donald Trump because he's a TV personality. It's pretty. I don't know. I think we almost deserve it if we do get a guy like Trump in there that's going to go up against Hillary.
Thanks for the call, Lee. Get ready for a race to the bottom between Trump and Hillary.
Wow, winning. The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Sunshine right now, a few high clouds, a nice day, 36 degrees. Saturday looks great, mostly sunny, breezy, a high of 51. And on Sunday, make your tea times, book them now because we're going to have sunshine, a chance of a shower in spots, but it will be warm, a high of 61 degrees. Travel times, here's Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy. Southeast side, there's a house fire report at 112th and Ewing. Inbound Kennedy, 56 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. Outbound 25. Edens, 23 minutes. Lake Hook to Montrose. Outbound 19. The Ike, an hour and 16 minutes. Thorndale to the Loop. Outbound 32 minutes. Stevenson, an hour and 4 minutes. 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. It's fine outbound. The Rhine is 31 minutes. 95th to downtown. I'm Jim Talamonte. ChicagoRadioDeals.com. Traffic Center.
Book your vacation now for spring break. Go to ritzcarlton.com/Dove Mountain for some special rates and packages for your spring break. Ritz-Carlton Dove Mountain, located 40 miles outside of Tucson, Arizona. It's nestled in between 5 mountain ranges. There's breathtaking views of the Sonoran Desert. It's peaceful. It's quiet. You can see the beautiful stars at night. It's unbelievable. If you're a golfer, the best golf course you can play in the state of Arizona. If you like spas, oh, yeah, #1 spa in Arizona. It has its own infinity pool and cabanas. It's perfect for a family vacation, too, because there is a family pool with water slides, and there's a kids club for the kids. There's a big turtle walking around on property. I love it. Reminds me of Peggy Kaczynski's turtle named Cliff. Or you can go to the Ritz-Carlton Dove Mountain Resort for a romantic getaway. The food is excellent. Award-winning chefs that are there, and there's also direct flights from O'Hare and Midway. So you can fly into Phoenix or into Tucson. 350 days of sunshine a year. Do it. Go to ritzcarlton.com/Dove Mountain for all the details. That's ritzcarlton.com/Dove Mountain.
On AM 560 The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to drill down and talk about the big ideas behind the big issues. That's where Upstream Ideas comes in. Upstream Ideas, online at upstream-ideas.com, in partnership with the Illinois Policy Institute, provides the kind of information that informs the policy discussions happening here on AM 560. At Upstream Ideas, you'll broaden the debate, move beyond partisan assumptions, and challenge accepted orthodoxies. In other words, Upstream Ideas goes against the current and thinks upstream. Go online now to upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to spur you on to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit more free, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. Upstream-ideas.com.
Having a great smile to show off makes you feel good. There's no embarrassment associated with being able to flash your pearly whites whenever you want. If you'd like to feel that comfort and confidence with your smile, there's only one person who can help you. Dr. Neruzzi of Fox River Periodontics.
This is Brian DeWolf. I have 2 implants from Fox River Periodontics. I had one. I was happy with it. So I had another one done, and I love them. The idea of dentures didn't appeal to me at all. I didn't want that appliance in my mouth. These implants are wonderful. They're just like your real teeth. teeth, and they're probably even better because there's no nerve attached to them, so there's no pain, and they'll last forever. Dr. Neruzzi is great, and his staff is wonderful, and I trust him completely. If you're looking for dental implants, or considering dental implants for a missing tooth or for a whole mouthful, talk to Dr. Neruzzi. He'll be happy you did, and Fox River Periodontics.
This is Dr. Neruzzi. I personally guarantee your happiness with your implants. Go to implantsforme.com.
For me, it was the big S-Class from the 90s. Beautiful. My friend's dad had one.
The SL. All of the SLs. I've been watching those since I was a kid.
I think the 1971 SE was the first Mercedes that just blew me away.
Everyone remembers the first time they saw one, and the day they began to long for a Mercedes-Benz of their own. Well, that day may be a lot closer than you think. With a certified pre-owned Mercedes-Benz, you can experience the luxury, the unparalleled safety, the performance, and the style Mercedes-Benz is famous for at a price you can afford. Beautiful SUVs, sedans, coupes, and convertibles that are factory certified and covered by an unlimited mileage warranty for up to 3 years, so you can drive without a worry for as far as you like. And during the certified pre-owned sales event going on now through February 29th, you can receive 2 years of complimentary prepaid maintenance and special financing available through Mercedes-Benz Financial Services, only at your authorized Mercedes-Benz dealer. You've waited long enough.
See your authorized Mercedes-Benz dealer for complete details and limitations on certified pre-owned warranties.
Hi, I'm Tom Sadeka, President and CEO of Precision Payroll of America. We're the 32-year-old company whose first employee and first client are still working together. With me today is one heck of a great service partner.
Thanks, Tom. Hi, I'm Andrea Kashaba, owner of Tulane & Associates Accounting and Tax Services here in Elk Grove, servicing small businesses since 1986. I heard Precision Payroll ads years ago. I called on behalf of one of my clients. Tom came out, met with us. Since then, we've added 6 more clients and absolutely love working with Tom and Precision Payroll. As an accounting professional, I love having the connection with Precision Payroll as it makes serving my clients even easier.
Andrea, thanks for coming in and sharing our success story. You are awesome and a joy to work with. If you want to partner with us or work with us, call me directly at 630-242-1507. That's 630-242-1507. Or on the web at precisionpayroll.com.
You're a physician, a nurse, or in the medical field. You have a sick patient who requires a custom, non-sterile compounded medication. This is some big news. You can refer with confidence your patients to Martin Avenue Pharmacy in Naperville, the first and only compounding pharmacy in DuPage, Kane, Kendall, LaSalle, DeKalb, and Western Will County to earn the Pharmacy Compounding Accreditation Board's seal of accreditation. The first and only. Patients and medical professionals want to know their compounding pharmacy is of the highest quality and has been independently verified. PCAB offers patients and medical professionals a way to verify that their compounding pharmacy is meeting the very highest and strictest national standards. When you know the difference, it makes a difference. Martin Avenue Pharmacy in Naperville, a PCAB accredited compounding pharmacy, 630-355-6400, or go to martinavenue.com.
We make it better, like nobody else. We make it better, Martin Avenue.
Thanks so much for joining us. Have a safe and wonderful weekend and enjoy. It's going to be warm out there, 61 degrees on Sunday. We'll see you back here on Monday morning at 5 a.m. But first, here we go into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, Bernie Sanders rallied the faithful here in Chicago yesterday. The Interstate Commerce Commission will